Welcome, welcome, welcome to the MWR Financial Game Changer event straight out of ATL. We're going to drop directly into a training that's already in session that is wrapping over from the lunchtime. You want to go ahead and get MWRFinancialLive.com, share it to any of your streams so that the people on your timelines can know all about this information. Welcome to the call. Go ahead and drop in your city and state where you are chiming in from to get this good. We're going to drop directly into the balance of the lunch session that Brian N. Bean is currently on stage giving to the participants that were in the room during the lunch hour.
Standard deduction, child. That's it. They're not trying to understand these receipts. They're not trying to understand mileage. They got it. Now he takes the 50, and that's all he gets. He went from 75 to 50 off just standard what? That's it. That's all he wants. That's most of your prospects. Now I'm fine. I got a job. I know you got a job. That's why I'm fine. All right, we're going to skip for the second time to page 5. These are just, you don't have to be a CPA, guys. This is just understanding how taxes work. That first person only get the things that are handed to you by the government. You got it? All right, page 5 at the bottom. Same scenario. Everybody got how many children? 1. This same person on line 7 makes 75,000. But what's the minus 15? On line what? 12. Everybody say 12? 12. If I lost anybody, we're on page 5 at the bottom. Line 12 says they lost $15,000. Line 12's description is business or income loss. See Schedule C. So your friends are going to say, well, Brian, you can't write off the internet. You can't lose in gambling. You can't lose on your cell phone. You can't lose in eating out. Well, why does the form say? I didn't make out the form. Line 12, I'm just reading. Says income or loss. The government printed the form out. I didn't make this up. So what they're telling you is you can lose. Let's see what they lost on. Where did they lose? We would have to quickly fast forward to the Schedule C. Page 7. What did they lose? Page 7, Part 2. Expenses. Car and truck expenses. You mean I get to write off some of my expenses from a vehicle that I use every day? Yeah, I lost $8,000 in my car and truck expenses. Depreciation. Man, what's depreciation? Oh, y'all didn't know? Every year your stuff get older. Your iPhone is a year old when they come out with the what? New one. Your laptop is a year old when they come out with the what? New one. Your furniture is a year old because it's a year old. Oh, so the government gives you phantom money. Because if you're a business owner, automatically your stuff is depreciating. So your CPA knows all of this. They're going to calculate, they got this intricate formula, but they calculate how much you lost on paper. So this person was able to write off another 1,000 because my stuff getting old. iPhone still work, internet still flowing. It's old. Oh, 16B. Oh, my mortgage interest. Yeah, see, if you're a homeowner, the interest is tax deductible. Okay? Let's go over to 24. Oh, travel, meals, entertainment. Brian, we don't always talk about taking this to the receipt because the Schedule C is the most audited form. They're looking for you not to have good records of these what? Expenses. So that's why tax bot is so important. So when they come after you, you can say, oh, I got all this, sir. I got pictures of the receipts. If they come after you, you ready. See, I wasn't ready in my 20s. That's why I had to make $1 million again. I got audited for 6 years. I don't worry, I'm good. But now I can come speak to you from the heart. Like, I'm telling you how it works. I wonder back then why God was putting me through that. I'm like, oh, you put me through that so I can explain this thing. The Schedule C is the most audited tax code. Because they figure y'all just little home-based business owners, y'all ain't keeping up with that. Let's go get them. When the government needs some money, guess what they go look for? The small business owner. The Schedule C, not even the small business owner. They look for the Schedule C people. Because y'all supposed to be lazy and don't supposed to know about this. So we know you think you made 75 and you only claim you made 5, so let's go audit you. I'm like, you can audit me. I'm good. I got pictures and everything. What, where, when, where, why, and how. That's what the government want to know. Who you was with, when was it, why'd you do it, how'd you do it. We ate, we talked about business. I was sitting down with Quantum Sims. We did a presentation, April 17th. All right, cool. That counts. Watch. Line 26, 5. Oh, utilities, another $1,000. Oh, entertainment, another $1,000. Oh, wages, less employment credits. You mean I can pay somebody? Yeah, including yourself. Because you work for your corporation, don't you? Oh, okay. Keep getting that 1099 money and not paying yourself a salary. Keep getting that 1099 money, and when you get to a certain level, you'll know when it's time, because now you got a company, huge corporation that you can call from 9 to 5. And just ask them these questions. I'm just giving you concepts. Make sense? Now, we also, 20, we got wages, and up top, I'm sorry, part 1, we put in a gross receipts for sales of $5,000. Y'all see it? So we made a little money. We made some money. But then we made some money of $5,000, and then we took out 20. So we negative 15. Line 20 what? 9. So even though I made $5,000 in MWR, and then my $75,000 on my job, I lost 15. On paper, it's called phantom money. So you were taught that nobody give you a check, it don't count. Now let's scroll over and see his summary. Let's see what happened to him. He's going to be 6. We got to go backwards because we went to the Schedule C to 7. I got to come back and see how that Schedule C affected you on page 6. You see it? So we're on page 6. So now, this person getting to start with 55 instead of 75. Now, I get the standard deductions that everybody else had. Child. And my standard deduction just for living in the country. Now, I'm down to 30,000. The other person that didn't do nothing was taxed on 20,000 more. You see it? So now when I turn in my tax forms, my CPA turned it in, because I have a business, it took out 15,000, 12,000, and 11,000 when the other person only had the 2. The 11,000 for child, 12,000 for child, and standard deduction for himself. So now $30,000 in taxable income, even though I made 75 and had an extra 5 for my business. But don't forget, I made an IRS contribution too. I mean IRA, Lord. Don't make no IRS contribution. I'm gonna give you a summary, don't worry. Let's go to, now we gotta go forward. Final person. This is the person who made some money. This is y'all, say that's me. Line 7, everybody started with 75 what? So you gotta know this. You gotta know this. But on line 12, I made 20,000 for my business. I'm up to 95 now. Y'all see it? See, I made 20,000. So what I did was, I took the 20,000 on line 28, and who can tell me where I stashed it? It's myself, am I right? So I still got 95. It's just over there. Because the government rewards you if you take care of your future. They don't want a whole bunch of broke people that can't take care of themselves. So they give you a deduction if you take 20 and throw it where? Over there in the cell. Same 95, but my taxable income is back down on line 37 as if I never went. Never made it. So let me get this straight before we go. I'll show you what happened to all three of these people. If you have a job, the government lets you stash $7,000 in your retirement. If you have a business, you can stash up to $57,000 in your retirement account. That's a huge disparity. So one gets to stash 7. I think it's 17. Don't quote me. It's some percentages. Don't quote me. But one gets to stash like 7 to 17. The business owner gets to stash like 57,000 without penalty. So if I'm you, when you start making a lot of money, you do what's called maximize your retirement. Now that number coming way down, or at least $57,000. Make sense? So now, watch this. On line 37, I look exactly like the people before me, the two people. I'm back to 75, just like they were. And I kept an extra 20. Let's flip it once. Would you believe it if I told you on page 10, this person looked the exact same? His outcome is the exact same as who? The person on page what? 1. Exact same. So people say, well, I didn't get in business to lose money. No, you're not understanding the deductions. The second person took a $15,000 paper loss. They didn't lose money. That was on stuff that they were doing. Anyway, eating and going out. This person said, not only did I not lose, I made 20 grand, and I look just like the person who didn't do nothing. So let's look at real quick the summary. You gotta know how to Schedule C works. Let's look at page 13. Where did you end up just because you took the time to break this down? Number 1, employee with no home-based business. The employee's taxable income is $50,000. Tax owed is 25%. That would be $12,000. Ain't no more. It's no more discussed. That's what they owe. That's what's due, or that's what has been taken from them. You got it. Employee number 2 with a home-based business. The employee made the same amount of income on his job plus an additional work from the business. $5,000 on number 2. $5,000. The business provided the employee with $20,000 in deductions. By investing $5,000 into a tax deductible plan, he got an additional $5,000 deduction. Same 5, I just put it over where? Over there. Which made a total of $25,000 deductions. The employee's taxable income is only $30,000. Y'all remember? 25% of that, this person owes $7,006 instead of $12,000. Just because of the business. And look, they ain't made a dime in the comp plan. So y'all be worried about the comp plan and are you blazing it? You're supposed to, don't get me wrong, but I'm telling you, you're not losing just because you're not winning in the comp plan. The employee ended up with an additional $5,000 in hand and in his investment account. Positive cash flow of $10,000. If the associate repeated this process with no improvements and invested all of his new annual income, $5,000 a month at 8%, it would grow to $250,000 in 10 years and $500,000 in 30. See, it's not another degree that's gonna make you wealthy. It's not a part-time job that's gonna make you wealthy. It's not trying to marry somebody that's gonna make you wealthy. It can help. Donna Rubin's in here like, he lying. You gotta be all right. I gotta be all right. You made $100, man. You made 50, I made 13. And like, it worked. You really what? Yo. But guess what? My point to you is, what makes you wealthy is your own money. This person ain't blowing up in the comp plan or nothing. They might be an SD, but if they just take the extra tax deduction and savings and put it in an interest-bearing account like the private reserve, they'll have $621,000 every time. Now let's look at you, because you're more like number 3. The employee made the same amount of income from his job plus an additional $40,000 in the home-based business. I messed up. He made $40,000 in the business. He stashed 20. That brought his net back down to 20. You go through it. It'll make more sense. He made 40 in the business. Okay. The business provided the employee with $20,000 in deductions by investing $20,000 in a tax deductible plan, an additional $20,000 in deductions made his total deductions 40. So between his expenses and his self, he brought the 40 back what? Down. The employee's taxable income is only $50,750. Sounds just like number who? More. And he stashed 40. Taxes owed, same as number one above. The employee ended up with $20,000 more in hand and $20,000 more in an investment. People said, Brian, how's it in his hand? Because any dollar you didn't give to the government was net. It went towards your expenses. The total cash flow increase was $40,000. If the associate repeated this process annually with no improvements and invested half his new dollars, half of it, $20,000, $16 a month at 8%, it'll be $982 in 10 years and $2.5 million in 30. But your folks want to cancel. Because they're 119. See, what you guys gotta get is the business is working. You're just not used to seeing your money start chasing you annually. You used to count your annual salary. You're not used to seeing $7, $12, $30, $50,000 at the end of the year. Most people don't stick around through the end of the year because I told y'all yesterday the quitting phase is 8 months. So they wouldn't even get a business long enough to see that they'd have been a multi-millionaire in 10 years. They'd have been a millionaire in 10 years, a multi-millionaire in 30 years if they just stuck with the plan. You got to know. I know I went through it, but you got to know how to take that home and look at that and explain that to yourself. And in some of your team meetings, some of your Zooms, we having a meeting after the meeting. Does that make sense? When you having your meeting after the meeting, you got to be able to break that down and say, y'all, let me tell y'all why we're doing the business. Here's why we're doing the business. Here's why you piquing interest. Here's why you talking to people. Here's why you never quit. You'll be a millionaire if you just hang in long enough. You're just not used to doing it. You used to getting earned income. You're not used to doing it on paper. Make sense? So I want y'all to understand before I go. This is something I made up. This is not necessarily fact, but I just want to give you some context. First, become a millionaire with your net worth. You'll be a millionaire with your net worth. Then, make $1 million a year. That's called phase 2. Then, have $1 million coming in annually. Phase 3. So first, let's be a millionaire when your assets are $1 million and your liabilities are less. Does that make sense? And when you subtract your liabilities from your assets, you still got $1 million net worth. Then let's get you to a point where you make $1 million annually. Then let's get you to a point where you got $1 million in cash. That's where you want to be. When you got $1 million in cash. How many stages to a millionaire? How many? 3. So now I'm going to introduce you guys to some powerful tools. Eric, you good? We got a good video queued up? Yeah. All right. I'm going to introduce you guys to one of the powerful tools that's going to take you to that millionaire status. I think we decided to roll with the realtor video, right, Mr. House? Yeah. We want to debut the video that you guys can send realtors. Let me say this while they cue this up. You can still peek and give me some of the cool videos that y'all have shot. Those of you guys that went to my property the other day, we shot some cool stuff by the lake and all that. See, what y'all got to remember, anything can pique interest. It don't mean it's going to have all the answers in it. We're just trying to see if you would. That's why it's called pique interest. We just want to know if you want more information. You can always go back to them and say, hey, it just launched this weekend. We got some powerful things I'm about to show you. And then you can show them these things and connect them with your upline to explain it. But don't stop peeking just because you don't understand it. Fair enough? Yes. Let's see what it looks like.
Okay, let me get right to the point for you. You're a realtor, and if you're like most realtors, you're probably Okay, let me get right to the point for you. You're a realtor, and if you're like most realtors, you're probably driving yourself crazy trying to figure out who's going to be your next client,
when you're going to sell your next home, and or how much your next commission check is going to be. This is the scenario for over 90% of real estate agents in the US, and just a few of the reasons why real estate is considered one of the most rewarding and challenging industries at the same time. This is also exactly why MWR Financial has created our Certified Realtor program. Imagine being able to partner with a company that can provide you with referrals, help you create clients, instead of having to compete for them, and give you everything you need to turn renters into buyers, while also being able to provide your turn down clients with everything they need to become qualified buyers. Sounds amazing, right? Well, believe it or not, it gets even better. By becoming a qualified MWR financial director who enrolls in our Certified Realtor program, you'll also be able to earn a guaranteed monthly residual income by referring other realtors, your clients, or anyone else you know to MWR Financial. By doing this, our financial makeover experts can provide them with everything they need to increase their cash flow, credit scores, and income, while also helping them lower their expenses and debt-to-income ratios all at the same time, putting them in the best position to qualify for lending. And best of all, you and your clients don't have to become financial experts because our experts do all the work. In other words, you no longer have to waste time and energy on financially challenged clients or assist a new homeowner with what it takes to get qualified, because our team will do it for you. As a MWR Financial Certified Realtor, you'll also gain access to a growing group of real estate investors through our network. You don't have to change real estate companies, and you can even earn an additional 1% commission on the sale price of any buyer we refer you through our Fire Your Landlord program. So, what are you waiting for? If you're ready to separate yourself from the competition and position yourself with a groundbreaking company that is disrupting the real estate industry, get back to the person that shared this information with you. Get all the details and get started today. Okay, let me get right to the point for you.
I gotta give him the proper introduction. Eric's gonna come up. I'm gonna yell real quick. I gotta give Andamo the proper introduction. Andamo was intricate. It has always been intricate. In the Financial Edge membership and all of his capabilities, give it up for him. It's not on yet. It's not on yet. It's all right. Because he's working. And all of his capabilities, y'all give it up for the Financial Edge membership. That's Andamo, baby. You hear from Andamo every single Monday. Giving you leadership development. Give it up for him again. Somebody over 30 years in the mortgage industry. His story is phenomenal. He saw the whole industry blow up, get taken away. He's made a ton of money. So Andamo's a dangerous combination. As a network marketer who's built organizations of 60, 70, probably 100,000 plus, if not the equivalent to these days, what will make 100,000 distributors earn you 6 figures a month. Wow. In this business. Talking the talk. He knows the mortgage industry, and although we're not in the mortgage industry, he's intricate. He was an intricate member in bringing these gentlemen to the table that's going to change your life. I need y'all to get on your feet for our president of field development. I'm gonna make you up in yes. I'm gonna make you go all out. Up in there, up in there. I'm gonna make you super excited. We have a lot to cover, so we're gonna get to it. But I want to share something with you, and I want you just to see where we are and some of the things you've heard me talk about and some of the things you heard me say. First of all, we're going to build a foundation here. Okay, you guys with me here? So the same way, and I want you to understand with real estate, as excited as we're going to be, and you're going to hear Brian talk about this after we're done here, but the same way we built this company, where we had a foundational phase, then we had a development phase, then we had the pre-launch for leadership, and then we launched it. Okay, guys, with me? We're going to have a foundation phase here in real estate. And we're going to have a development phase where we can get this going. So over the next year, that foundation of what we do in development-wise is going to make a difference. It's going to make the statement you're about to hear me say a reality. Yeah. But it's up to who? It's up to us, right? It's up to me. Make it personal. It's up to who? Me. Up to who? Me. Make it like you mean it. It's up to who? Me. All right. Can you count on you? Yes. All right. You heard a lot of things that Brian talked about. Brian NB. I gotta say, so I call him B&B in house or B house because Brian and Brian, they love it too. They love hearing their name. But what happens is Brian B, what he talked about yesterday, and that belief and having to understand this. What I'm about to share with you, you have to believe it. Are you guys with me here? Yeah. Because I'm completely all in believing it. Because I know it's going to happen because I've seen it happen before. It just wasn't nearly as good as what we have. Are you guys with me here? Yeah. So here's where we are. We have this little bitty company in comparison to where we're going. Are you guys with me? Yeah. And you guys all have first mover advantage. In business, that's what people kill for, is first mover advantage. So what I'm going to tell you is this. Remember Mr. Brian House, our CEO and founder, he said there's 47 million renters in America right now, okay? Those 47 million renters, we want to capture ultimately 10% of that market. Are you guys with me here? That means 4.7 million people would have come to MWR Financial. Are you guys with me? Yeah. To do that, we expect to do that in 10 to 20 years to make that happen. We think we can do it in 10. Are you guys with me? Yeah. We expect to get 1% of the market, just so you know we're going in the right direction, in 5 years. That's 470,000 people in MWR Financial. Are you guys with me here? Yeah. Who do they have to come through? In order to get to MWR Financial, see, we're that exclusive club. A lot of you think we're just, it's one of those things, no, this is an exclusive club. Let me tell you what I mean by that. If you were looking to join this country club and it cost you $100,000, unless you have the ability to join that club, why would you join that club? You would join it for the networking, exactly. It's the networking, because the people that you can kind of meet and you'll ultimately do business with, and it'll help you expand your business. Are you with me? Yeah. So if that's the case, and then you're in this club, do they let anybody just join that club? Because even if you had $100,000, can you just join the club? No, you have to be what? Invited. They have to check you out to see if you're worthy of this club. Are you guys with me here? Did you notice earlier yesterday when you heard Brian B talk about, I talk to people, when we connect with people, we have to find out who they are to even determine, is that somebody I want to be in business with? Are you guys with me here? Yeah. Don't we do that? Yeah. How do you get into MWR Financial? You have to be what? You guys say it like you mean you have to be what? Invited. Is this exclusive or do we just take anybody? Exclusive, right? Now watch this. Do you think we do business here and make money here? Yes. Are we about to talk about some money in real estate? Yes. Do people want to be involved in something like that? Yes. But if you treat it like it's some little side hustle as opposed to what it really is, that membership has its privileges. Are you guys with me here? Yes. That's how you make a difference. So here's what's going to happen. You guys all heard me say within 36 months, I believe we'll be at 250,000 people in MWR Financial. Yes. You guys with me? Yes. So once it's 5 years, that's where the 470 comes. Are you guys with me here? Yes. So that first year, though, is a critical year. Help us capture our goals. It's the first year. It's what you do with this information that you're about to hear, how you apply it, how you take it seriously and go for it. And some of you will be like Andamo Tosin was, who grew up in the inner city, had nobody, no rich uncle that was going to leave me anything. And if something was going to happen for me and my family, I had to go do it. Yeah. And so I never gave myself any other options. See, I didn't have those good jobs like some of you had. I didn't have all that good stuff going on like a lot of you. It was just, man, I got to go do it. Or I don't eat, and I could be, I might be that homeless guy trying to bug some money from you, right? That's where I looked at it. So I went all in. When you heard Jatasha talk about her story, her and Fred, they were all in. Are you guys with me here? Yeah. Most people don't realize that 90 days, most of everyone would have quit. But they hung in 90 days, and now look where they are and all the things they've been able to experience. Phenomenal. So what you're about to hear right now is something that obviously we all are excited about. We know is revolutionary, but I want you to understand the union, and they'll talk about the union more, but you have something that was an incredible operation that was going on. Incredible system with incredible technology that was happening for 11 years before MWR Financial.
and they were doing their business. But they saw MWR Financial. You heard earlier that Brian talked about how there was going to be a company they wanted, that was much bigger than us that wanted them to join them, to connect with them. But they didn't do it. They saw MWR Financial, and they'll tell you why. They liked what they saw, but it made sense, and it all lined up. And what we are is we can be the boots on the ground. Are you guys with me here? Yes. See, what we saw, what we had, was not only the great services that we had in front of us to line someone up to be able to buy a home, and like tease them up to be able to get a pathway, a clear pathway to have home ownership, but we also had enough people to go tell enough people. Are you guys with me here? Yes. So we're the boots on the ground to help with buyers. We're the boots on the ground to help with realtors. We're the boots on the ground to help with investors. Are you guys with me? Yes. So that marriage is absolutely phenomenal. But you know why I know that happened? Because of our great leadership and Mr. Brian House, our CEO and founder, I believe, and so many of you, I know. So when I say I believe, it's I know there's an anointing on this company. And this all happened because of God. Are you guys with me here? There's no other way to describe it. That's what happened. So I don't know who was praying and for this, and who that prayer is being answered, and then that answer is blessing everybody in this room. Are you guys with me here? You don't hear me. You don't even hear me. You do not hear me. Somebody wanted something so bad, and they believed it so hard that they were willing to say, Lord, just put this into place. I'm here, I'm now. This is what I want to do. I'm all in. And God said, I'm going to bless you. But in blessing you, the entire room, ultimately the entire country gets blessed. Are you guys hearing me? I think you still don't know, because what you're about to hear, I'm telling you, it is going to absolutely change lives like you can't believe. You heard Natasha, 89 days she could have quit. It took 91 days just to get her first person. And now her husband, it's incredible. So there's so many stories like that, but let me do this. I want you to, and you guys have been, I'll give you, see, I thought this was the ATL. You guys sound like you guys are in LA. You know how they always talk about us as fans. We come late, we go home early, we kind of bougie, so we kind of clap a little bit. And you guys have been actually about a C, even with Brian Bean up here. Even with our great CEO and founder, he had to talk to you and get you guys going. Now, I'm not going to have to get you going, right? No! See, I am, because that was so weak. I heard the ATL, you guys know how to do it. We always see you guys have turned up. You didn't even know what COVID was out here. They were just going wild. So it's that time. It's that moment. You guys with me here? Yeah. So I want to make sure, because otherwise, if you don't bring him up right, this guy is about energy. If you don't bring him up right, he's not going to leave a whole bunch of stuff that you would know today. He's going to make you hear about it later. Are you guys with me here? So you guys ready? I want you to give it up, and he'll tell you this story from none other than the CEO of the U.S. Housing Exchange, Mr. Mario Henry. Work. Okay, so thank you guys so much. I really appreciate being here today. I want to first thank Brian, the Bryans, for making this possible. Adamo, who I talk to multiple times a day. And so we become like brothers now. Yes. And so it's great. And I really want to thank McCasey. famous tradition. I'm not. I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm not. And a client of mine who I ended up selling a long time ago into another one of my programs. She's real quiet, real laid back. Genevieve, real laid back, you know. And she was all fired up in my inbox, and she's like, "You got it, please, I want you to hear this thing." I'm thinking, "Oh my God, what is one of those things again?" I was like, "I don't want to hear one of those things." She said, "Mario, please." And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna listen to it." So I go on there. The Casey's up there, and I had another conference call I had to do. And as soon as he started talking, I was like, "Oh snap!" I was like, "This is something that I've been preaching about for years. Every single component of where something was." And I was like, "Wow!" I just went texted somebody, "Y'all gonna be a little late," and I'm listening to it, and I just told her I'm in. After about, I don't know how many of you guys need a whole bunch of convincing, but I'm the type. I'm like, if I see something, I'm making a decision instantly. I'm in. So I hit him up, I'm in. And then it took maybe a few days as we started talking. They didn't know about the app. They didn't know anything of what was happening, but then there was synergy when I got on the phone, and immediately got on the phone with Ndamo, talked to Ndamo, and he got Brian on the phone. Long story short, here we are today. So I'm gonna see if I don't jack this up with this thing. So if you see me make some mistakes, I won't even try to hide. I'm just like, "Oops, I made a mistake." All right, so how do we start the PowerPoint?
There you go.
Is that it? All right, good. Okay, so why do we fit so well together? You know, we fit like this puzzle. We fit like the puzzle because I've been talking about money, wealth, credit, everything, maximizing your money. When a long time ago, as you start to understand who I am, you'll see where this is going to come into place in a second. But that's what the keys to wealth is. It's for us to be able to be united, and then we work all together. That's why when Ndamo said us, me, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely 100% true on how we're going to be able to beat that. Okay, so when we look at this membership, you know, at first when I was here at MWR, making wealth real, I was like, that sounds kind of cheesy. I was like, what is the wealth? I was like, but then as I started to look, I was like, wow, they're not just saying it. They're putting all the pieces in place for wealth to be a possibility. You see what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. So when you look at this formula, you got U.S. Housing Exchange. And I'm not cocky. MWR Financial could be first. So MWR Financial, U.S. Housing Exchange, whatever the equation we got to do about it. And then, but the key to it is success, the key. You know, it doesn't matter which one was there, but at the end of the day, that key is going to unlock it well. We're going to lay out a roadmap. And we're going to be laying out a roadmap with breadcrumbs. Okay? That's what we want. So then now, you're like, who are you? Okay, I got to introduce myself because this is the first time I actually am talking to you guys. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself before I get into the company and all the things that we're going to bring to you guys. So that's me. I like the tie, so I wore it again. I got a lot of them. I promise you, it's not my only tie. Okay, I wore that one. Okay, this is me and my wife, Charlene. Okay, we've been married since she's gonna kill me because I know she's watching now. Since 2002. So, you know, I do everything I do for my family. So these are my boys. They're 18. Okay, and this is one of my daughters. This is another one of my daughters who's actually in Atlanta. She actually came to meet me the other day. A lot of you guys have met her and everything. And these are my grandkids. So everybody has to have a why. Okay, so that's my why. Now, this was another life ago. My claim to fame is I wore number 12 before Tom Brady. That is the trivia question. You'll trip a lot of people up. Who won 12 before Tom Brady? Okay? But a little bit about this little time period. I don't talk about it too much because if you Google me, you're not going to see those stats. I was on the bench all day and everything. So
I would run other people's plays. I was the decoy. I would be out there and do everything. But it was a long journey just to get to that little spot right there. And, you know, a lot of times people don't understand what it takes to get to that level. And before that game, I was a rookie free agent, which means I wasn't drafted, which means I was slated to get cut. And it was a horrible feeling to pick up the USA Today. There's no internet back then. And you look and you read about your team. You know, my feelings got hurt because, you know, they're like, oh, Mario Henry, fast wide receiver, but probably would get cut. Probably won't make the first round. I was like, yeah. I was like, okay. And before this game, for whatever reason, a guy named Bill Parcells, he was my coach. For whatever reason, this guy had it in for me. And we were about to play the LA Rams. And I complained about the previous week was playing the Saints, and this was preseason. And they said that I ain't get in. And I was complaining, and, you know, you got to watch out about complaining because you complain to the wrong person, it gets to the coach. Or it gets to whoever you don't want it to get to. So in front of a room just like this, and there wasn't as many people, it was probably about, before camp, probably about 70 guys in there. And, you know, it was a whole bunch of profanity that Parcells was telling me. I won't say it in front of the room since Brian's a preacher back there, so I won't get him like that. But for make a long story short, I was told the night before the game that they were going to throw me 3 balls. And if I dropped any of them, they were going to cut me. And he said, don't worry about it. There'll be 80,000 people out there. So this was my first of those 3 balls right there. And that was a Pro Bowl quarterback named Darrell Henley. He actually went to prison right after this play right here because he went on drug kingpin charges. You can Google it. He was a great quarterback. They told the quarterback to throw it to me no matter what because he wanted me to, I don't know, he must have wanted me to get cut, rattled, whatever. But after I did those 3 and I caught those 3, there's nothing in life. I wasn't intimidated really before, but after that, I was not scared of absolutely nothing. You see what I mean? So that's the type of thing, you know, you'll know about me. I got the dog in me. I'm not scared. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to fight. That was my first job out of college, and that was what it was. But my career was very short, very short. You know, you needed a VCR and a pause button to see the time I got it. All right, so like athletes typically are, and I didn't have that far to fall because I wasn't making that much money, but I was broke at 28, couldn't get back in the NFL, didn't know really anything about money. I had no more money and a whole bunch of bills because the lifestyle that I had in the NFL, I was low man on the totem pole, but when you get guys in your team coming in with Ferraris, Bentleys, Lamborghinis, and you know, you get caught up in that. So then, you know, that's what happened. And then not to mention women, you know, so I was guilty. So, you know, that ends up happening to a lot of athletes. But I tell people all the time that is a microcosm on what's going to happen to the general population. Okay, people are going to be running out of money. And so what happens is they did an interview on me on CNBC, all over the place, picked up this story because they wanted to know about why are NFL players broke. And so what happened, as I told them, I said, you know, we're living so much longer than where it was before. Before you retired at 65, most people were dead at 67, 68. So I just said, you know what, an athlete's making their entire career money right off the bat. So it's a lot easier for them to show people what it's going to be like for them. And so all the stories, if you Google, you see all the different things. I mean, I have a column on Newsmax on financial column. You know, I've got in the top 100 of real estate professionals in the United States. So you see a lot. I talk about a lot of the same thing. Okay, so that was the story that was done. If you Google me, you'll probably be able to see it and everything. So where this thing got serious, once I got out the NFL, the first car I bought in the NFL, first car I didn't even need my contract. I mean, I didn't even need the credit report. They used my NFL contract. I was good. When my career was over, I was in there to change my oil or something like that. Looked the part. I was broke as hell, but I looked the part. I had the jewelry I had everything. So you know, had my little Cadillac. You couldn't have told me that I was broke. I didn't show my hand. And so when I walked in, guys was talking to me, a panel. I was Mr. Henry when I walked into the dealership. And they talked me into trying to say, you know, you need to trade that car and get something else. I don't know what I was thinking because I didn't have a job. But I was like, you know, they gassed me up and I was like, all right, I'm going to get the new car. I'm going to get the new car. Test drove it, everything like that. They're like, all right, we got to run your credit and everything. I was like, cool. Then I think you guys know how this story ends. But so what happened, when I got in there, I had a 430-something credit score. And you got to work hard to get that score. I ain't pay nobody. And so I went from Mr. Henry to Mario instantaneously. And then the guy said, can you still catch? I was like, yeah, I can catch. He threw my keys from about 20 yards away, or 20 meters away from me. And I called him and said, yeah, you can still catch. And they walked away. Everybody got to the thing. And I was just standing there. And I got back in my older car. And I said, you know what? I'm going to start to study this thing. Those three bureaus got too much power. And those three numbers changed my respect. And you know, I got pride. So I started getting in the lab. And before that, there was really not credit repair. People don't really know about it. This was 2001. And so all these books, you know, FCRA, I didn't know what I was even looking at most of the time. But after a while, things started to make sense. And what happened? Okay, here we go. Like they're tricking me up in here. Since I'm a rookie, you guys try to have the PowerPoint meeting. But that financial ignorance made me start Credit Evolution. And then what I had to do, because it's like, who's going to come to the broke NFL player to go get your credit done? I kind of knew what I thought that I was going to do, but I was like, I can't charge anybody for this. So then what I did, I had to get people that I wanted to say, you know what? I said, I already know what I'm doing that much. And I blessed these people today because I don't know why they was letting me try to do with this stuff. But I'm not going to charge you anything. And so I ended up getting about 100 people that I knew. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to fix your credit for free. And I may not do anything. It may look the same exact way. So I don't know. I said, but I need to test some things out from what I was studying. And because what I knew I needed to do was I needed to have some testimonials.
Yes.
I knew I needed to get a reputation. And I was so excited when somebody came back to me and said something was removed from the credit report. Because back then, you look and then nobody can fix good credit, nothing, all this stuff. And I was like, man, forget all that. You know, let me try to see what I can do. Then I really started studying it. And then I started getting to where people wanted to hear a lot about what their rights were. And then I started really understanding the FCRA, Fair Credit Reporting Act, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, every single thing. And then I got on the radio in Philadelphia, WRD 900 AM. And it was a wrap. It was a wrap. Because then what happened, people really started to get the reputation. But then what happens, and I'm sure you guys have seen this here, is you can delete everything somebody's credit report, but maybe 2 things are on there. They're not looking at the 8 that came off. They're like, well, what about these 2 over here? I was like, look at the 8 that came off. Well, you know, I got these 2 things over here. I said, so if the 8 things was on there, the 2 things that you're talking about came off, you'd be good. No. I was trying to get everything off. And I was charging $600. And I was like, so for $600, you wanted to have a 700 score? Oh, yeah. And I said, okay, so let's break something down. If you have 10 Fs on a report card, and we take off 8 Fs, what is your grade point at? So then not everybody's going to be capable of going to that 700 score. So then that was when I realized I got to get out the credit game because I'm not being appreciated. And my feelings was hurting. Because I go in with the passion to help somebody. And then here I am thinking I did something. I was like, 80% of your negative things came off your credit report. 80, 100's better than 80. And so I said, you know what? I need to make sure that we put some things on here. And what happened, I'm going to tell my stuff. My thumb is definitely out. Pressing the thing and it's not moving. All right, so what happened, I started to learn that the credit bureaus really weren't the enemy. Even though we're fighting the credit bureaus because they're just storing the information for the original creditors and the collection agencies. So I said, all right. So then now I developed something called the forensic credit audit. All right. May sound fancy. I made it up. I told you 100 made it up. I was like, that sounds intense. You know, but I was like, that's what we're going to be. We forensic credit audit. And so then now we got a little bit more sophisticated with the approach. For example, up here, I don't know how many people can see this, but the people in the front, when you look at this credit report right here, you see something off on why I was able to get this off with one phone call with the General Legal Counsel of Capital One. What's that? No, it wasn't anything to do with the date. It wasn't anything to do with, well, the account number. Yeah, there was a account number on there, but we just put not the balance.
Status date.
Not the status date. You remind credit limit. Who said credit limit? Bam. There was no credit limit missing. I mean, no credit limit on there. So what do you think that did to the credit score of the client? What do you think happens to the algorithm of the computer of the credit bureau? Sorry, I'm tricked up with my mouth. But the credit limit, if there's no credit limit on the credit report, they're automatically going to have the balance, the limit. And so that's going to have 100% debt ratios. And then now, my argument was that everything on a credit report has to be accurate and verifiable. So then guess what? You didn't have the credit limit on the credit report. So then guess what? My client's credit scores were affected for years before they had other debt. So it was like a $7,000 charge-off, $6,200 charge-off. I had 50 grand waiting for me when that thing came off. So that was coming off. That was coming off. So you can't, so there's a lot of little things, that happen. So when you look at a credit report, the bureaus had nothing to do with that. When I had a conversation with the General Legal Counsel, they're like, Mr. Henry. I was like, I'm back to Mr. again. Okay. I don't want nobody to call me Mr. Henry here. I'm Mario. But when those people were strangers and everything, it felt good. So the credit limit was missing. The count was done. I got a fax back then and showed that they were going to be removing it, and bam, we did that deal. So in our process, we got a little bit more, and MWR members are going to be open up to everything that we're talking about now. So you're going to get the forensic credit. If you're going through our home buyer program, you automatically are going to get the forensic credit audit. If you're not buying a house, it's a lot of work. So we're not going to do it if you're just needing a forensic credit audit on the credit side. But what happens is now we've developed a platform because people are buying a house. Why are people going into credit restoration most of the time? Buy a house. So then now we said, let's lay out the gauntlet. Let's lay out the playbook. Even though I'm not an athlete, even though I only got in where you needed a VCR and a pause button, I'm still with the mentality of an athlete. So when I speak to Adamo and when I speak to Brian, always using football analogy. Yo, we got to have a blitz adjustment. We got to have another play. We got to come in. Like, what are you doing? But so now we got attorneys that work with us that specialize in actually suing. I've been threatening people to sue. I've been threatening credit bureaus. I'm going to sue them for years. I ain't doing one lawsuit. Probably 50,000 clients and not one lawsuit. But now, since we started, and now I said, okay, I approached these companies, big companies, and I said, look, What would you do if I came and gave you non-compliant cases that were FCRA, PCA, fair billing, HIPAA, whatever the federal law that's broken? What would you guys do? Well, we'll give you $200 per account. I was like, I wasn't even asking the $200. I'm just saying, you take the case. Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially when you found what the problem is. So I was like, ding, ding, ding. So then now it's passed over to where there's no cost for our clients to be able to now work with attorneys. They're not going to just work, but then what we do is when we do the forensic audit, we work, we get it, they get it. And so then now what happens is they sue. And what they do is they're going to sue a lot more money for what it is. And what motivates them is they're going to get a lot. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to say, look, we're going to keep anything over and above $1,000. But our clients will not only get the item removed, but they also can get up to $1,000 in damages, not just the deletion. So then now we got some teeth behind what it is. So I don't have to just do all these empty threats now. I was like one of the little chihuahuas that just they're not doing anything behind it. But now we can actually come in with a big bark. All right. So now we're getting into the real estate to where I just say, you know what? I'm tired of doing stuff without a tangible goal. And so I always wanted to do a couple things. When I was in college, I was playing football at the University of South Carolina Gamecocks. And then I transferred to Rutgers University, and I finished out there. And I always wanted to do real estate. And I was one of these guys that bought the no money down Carlton Sheets thing. But I'm dating myself. It wasn't even CDs back then. It was tapes. It was some tapes. I saw a late night commercial with him on TV being about 1:00,000 in the morning. And, and I was like, I'm going to be a millionaire. And the problem was a lot of the gurus that teach are either teaching something outdated or they're not physically doing it. And so that was what the problem was. So I bought that and nothing worked. And I was out my little $39.99 on what I paid for it. All right. But then what happened, I went and got, where you're in the airport, you look at the magazines, and it was one of these entrepreneur magazines. And then I saw something that said buy a franchise, and it was the NHBA. I was like, what's the NHBA? National Home Buyers Assistance. So unwisely, I go out there to Denver in December, and I said unwisely because I ended up being there like a refugee because I was stuck in the airport because they had this huge snowstorm. But prior to that, I met with their CEO, and then I said I'm going to bring my credit piece in, and their concept was buy a property for an end buyer, and then allow them to buy it, and then wait 12 months. And back then it was pre-2008, so everybody was getting 8 to 10% appreciation in their home. So people were looking at it as a way to make 8 to 10% in a year, and they were like, "Cool, this is some good. This is pretty good." But the problem was, out of 175 franchises, they didn't have no exit strategy. They would just say, "Oh, just take your time to do the credit." The credit repair is not aggressive enough in all cases because trade lines and all the other different types of things. So when they saw my platform, the CEO was so excited, they actually changed locations from Denver and moved into Laurel, New Jersey, where my office was. And then the company folded because the 2008 meltdown happened. But it gave me the idea that to buy a property for a credit-challenged individual and then fix their credit and do all the things necessary to convert them into a homeowner. So then that's where that whole thing was. So then it went from credit evolution to credit evolution development. So then I did my first deal, and man, I was excited. Because I don't know, can anybody in the front read what was highlighted there? $67,000. And I didn't even take title to that property. A person came and they wanted to sell. They heard my radio show and they were like, I have a wholesale property, it needs a little bit of repairs. Do you think you have somebody who wants it? And I just got off the phone with one of my clients that was in Credit Evolution. She wanted to be in the same area in Germantown outside of Philadelphia, and she wanted to be in that area. And I was like, I I pre-qualified her, got her pre-qualified with the mortgage company. They said she could go up to $140,000. And the guy was selling the property for $67,000 or $65,000, needed like $5,000 worth of work. How many of you would find $5,000 to do that deal? So I did that deal within a matter of 2 months, closed the table, and that's what I made. And that's when I said I want to do real estate. Okay, so I ended up getting, this is the former police commissioner for Philadelphia, Sylvester Johnson. So he ended up giving an official endorsement. I was going in front of the Philadelphia FBI. You know you better be tight if you're doing those type of presentations. But what happened is when MWR Financial came into my life, they're the first credit repair organization that I endorsed. So then now, on the first round of credit, I give it to MWR. I'm like, go to MWR. People call me up. I was charging $1,000. I was like, they're like, we're paying $1,000. I'm like, no, go to MWR. It will cost you $80 with the membership. And then now you always want to give me referrals. So instead of you just give me credit referrals, the member plan, grade 129? 119, you see how I'm doing. So 119, and then I feel good. When I met Brian House, we clicked. I was teasing him on his accent first. Sorry, Brian. I'm a clown. I can't be done. But behind that accent, I saw a brilliant mad scientist, which I love. I love that. And when we pretty much told the stories of each other's stories and everything, I said, I want to work with you. Because before that, I was offered pretty tempting of an organization that had over 100,000 reps, actually over 200,000 reps. But the problem was they had a financial division. They wanted me to head the financial division. They had software to be able to reduce debt and everything. They also sold makeup. I was like, man. I'm not going up in there and have my stuff and then you selling makeup and vitamins and all this other kind of stuff. I mean, no offense on any of those companies, but it wasn't it. It wasn't it. And they had a lot of members and they said how much I would be able to make with them and everything, but it just wasn't a fit. So then when I spoke and talked to Brian and Adamo, it was like, I don't care that you got a smaller percentage. You guys got some dogs in here. You know, that's what I saw. Yep. So now what happened, since we got into the housing, we developed a nonprofit, Halo Foundation. Now, Brian Bean talked about saving money on taxes. Guess what happens when I'm working with my nonprofit? I got for-profit, nonprofit. I'm doing my real estate deals, and my nonprofit gets a donation on every deal we do. ends up being pretty good. I'll leave it at that. Since I'm on film, I don't want to. So that's the Halo Foundation. So we have the nonprofit leg because we utilize some deals where we don't want to take title. When I buy houses, I don't always take title, which means I don't always own it, but I control it. You see, that's my number one way I want to do it. I want to control it, but I don't want to own it. Because then what happens is a couple reasons. But I won't go too much into a tangent. Adamo said, sell the sizzle. I'm state. So I'll just go and sizzle. There's a lot more information. You could ask him, Damo, he's standing right there. He had to have me remove like 50 slides. He's like, yo, be here all night. But the nonprofit, allows for when we're in a competitive market to wedge in where we don't have to buy the property. Some deals are tweeners, but there's not enough equity for us to buy, but it's a pretty good deal. So then a lot of those deals, we can put the nonprofit in the middle and we can still do the deal. Client can still go into a deal and we don't have to take title and have 2 sets of closing costs, a lot of profit from within. So you'll see a lot of different strategies that we do. A lot. You guys are going to learn a lot. Not today, but you guys are going to learn a lot. You guys are going to be cum laude in real estate very soon. Then we started, my landlord is fired. Brian said, nah, let's go fire your landlord. So I was like, we're going to fire your landlord. So then now you're going to see FYF. And it started with my landlord is fired. Okay, and then we came into the technology. I made a lot of mistakes in real estate. I don't want to come in here and act like I just always figured it out. I've been sued, made a lot of mistakes, and contractors steal from me, and contractors do bad work, and had to redo a lot of different deals. I learned a lot, but just like in football, you come up with a play, you get blown up on that play, you get back in the huddle. So here's what I did wrong, here's what we did this, here's that, and you come up with something else. So we came out with our app. Our app is revolutionary because what it does, it allows us to track things. It can allow us to be able to have our Todd Lane, who I also have to thank. He was a teammate of mine a long time ago, 30 plus years, and now he's my business partner and the vice president of U.S. Housing Exchange. He's going to come up at some point and talk. But with this, it allows us to control costs. It allows us to be able to attract. I say our app is like a dating app between people who want to buy but can't, and the people who want to sell and can't. And we put those two together. Since everybody starts talking about checks and money made and everything like that, I was like, documentation beats conversation. You see what I mean? So that one there, that was, 38, that's 52. We've had deals where it's 180, 70, whatever. So then when we do these deals, what we look for is the close. Close, everybody get paid. So that's what we go for. That's where everybody gets paid and somebody fired the landlord. This is one of our ads that we're running all throughout the different parts of the country. So we have been very successful so far. But as Ndamo said, we could be 10 times more successful if we have boots on the ground. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. So you'll be able to see testimonials, video testimonials, people. Like we have one guy living in a hotel and his credit wasn't even good enough to get an apartment. He came to U.S. Housing Exchange, in less than 3.5 months, he was at the closing table. The scores be on the website and you guys look. And we've had people, girl in there crying. She was a renter for 20-something years, and then now she finally fired her landlord. So there's a lot of joy that we get in helping people. That's where a lot of things come into. So now we're in the buyers, so I'm going to continue breaking. Okay. So the average house in the United States rents for a 3-bedroom. I know Ndamo's going to say not in California. We're not talking California. We're talking the averages, man. All right. So it's $2,584. That's the average cost of a 3-bedroom house. Okay. So then now you're making you think that the landlord's mortgage is higher or lower than that number? No. So you're going to pay not only his mortgage, but he's also going to make a profit. So then the question is why are you going to pay someone else's mortgage instead of your own? That doesn't make any sense. But it's not even that. There's a thing called inflation, which means that people are printing more people. The government's printing so much money, it's devaluing the money that's already here. So we're growing roughly since 1913, about 3.2, but World War was like really high inflation. But realistically, it's about 2.4 to 2.6% per year on inflation rate. So then now in 30 years, if you got a person that's hell-bent on just staying renting, what do you think that rent is going to be in 2000, what is 30 years? 2051. I'll be like 80. Well, I'll be 80, 30 plus, yeah, I'll be 80. What do you think? Well, hopefully I'll be 80. Hopefully I don't want to get me pompous. But In 30 years, what do you think it's going to cost to rent this same house? Anybody want to guess? 4,000? 5? I'm playing Price is Right. Higher or lower? Higher? Okay. Okay. So the actual cost, okay, I'm really trying to break down Price right now. But $51.89. Good job. Come on down. $51.89. So why everybody's in trouble is we're trying to save today's dollars for tomorrow's prices. It's an impossibility. Impossibility. And you'll hear me talk about that on the podcast. I got a lot of documentation off of what we're talking about. So a person, if they don't lock down and get themselves in a plan, so that's why they have to have the MWR membership. They can't cancel because they got to be in this thing until they get into a house. Yeah. They got to be in. Because what are you going to do? When is it going to stop? So then that's it. Never's going to stop. So the longer we live, the more that rent payment's going to be. So that's why we got to freeze it up. And I'm not even going to talk about the fact that we're losing equity, because that 2.5%, what do you think that house is going to be worth in that period of time? That equity's going in, and then, you know, you're not getting it. It's like counting your neighbor's money all day, watching them make money, and you're not making no money. You're giving it to them, and you're not even writing it off. It's like, I could go on to that slide forever. All right, so the app, we're going to match the motivated buyers and the motivated sellers. People are like, what is a motivated buyer? All the motivated buyer is a buyer that wants to own, but they can't. And typically they're renters. Or they're going to have other options, which I'll tell you about some of those options a little bit later on. But a motivated buyer, a renter with bad credit but good income who dreams of home ownership. So if you look at through your entire friends list on Facebook, I'm sure you're going to find a lot of people, especially you can do a simple Facebook status post. If there was a way for you to own and you're renting, who would want that? Watch how many likes you get. It's crazy. All right? Motivated seller. Homeowner who needs to sell their homes quickly due to issues as foreclosure, divorce, or any distress type of situation. Now, right as today, there's hardly any inventory throughout the country because interest rates are so low. But me and Andamo, Brian, we've been talking about this for a couple months now. And we think that this is going to be a change within the next 6 to 7 months. COVID got all these people with deferred payments, all these people, a lot of people, got millions of people who didn't have a job since COVID. So then what's going to happen is going to eventually, any realtors in here? Okay, is anybody disagreeing with me that we are going to have the market shift very soon once these foreclosures come into the market? Okay, so this is why timing is everything. Everything. What we do when we get a client, we're going to talk to them, bad credit person, 510, 520, it doesn't matter. People say, what's the minimum credit? I don't care. I don't care. What we want to do is we look at the credit. They go into MWR. We're going to start conquering it. They're going to run lead leg. We're going to run anchor. But we're working together. MWR, U.S. Housing Exchange, we're working as a team. But we want 2 years full-time. Keith Belton is from Cardinal. He's going to go a little bit more into this. But for our program, we're going to collect a lot of information from somebody. So we want to be able to get their full-time documented income. We'll talk about the self-employed very soon. We want them to be current on bills. They can't come to us for us to help them if they're currently in a position where they're not paying anybody. You know, we don't, I'm not going to judge you based upon what you did before, but you can't currently be jacked up. You can't. You gotta give us something to show us that you at least are on a path of recovery. You see? We're going to give you help. Help. All right? We need to have 3.5% to 5% of the purchase price. They're like, why is there 3.5% to 5%? Because based upon what we see, and how bad your stuff is, you may have to put that 5% down. I have a client in Indiana. We just bought a house. I've never even been to Anderson, Indiana. When we bought the house, they found us on Google, ran the credit report. The machine was smoking. Smoking, man. It was like a 470 and 490. They're like, oh. I was like, I'll do the deal. Like, really? I was like, you're going to put down 5%. But when you start to understand, and the realtors will verify this, a lot of other programs out there is a lot more than 5%. A lot more. Like 20, 30%. All right? So, example, you have a $200,000 house, $7,000 to $10,000 in savings. Okay? So that's what we would want from someone. They could use 401k, they could use a lot of other things, they could get gifts and everything. And people first told me that. I don't want to sound funny, but I'm about to be. I was like, look, I've been doing Credit Evolution for a long time. The majority of my clients have been Black folks. Black folks not having some family member give them $20,000, $30,000. What are you talking about? Right? That was what I said when I first got into this thing. I was like, so that's why I say all the different options. But if you end up being outside of what my racial thing was, I don't mean to be racist, but I'm talking about myself included. So I don't have a family member can give me $20,000, $30,000. If you got one that would give you $20,000, $30,000, bless you. All right, but we can do all of those. Just all have to be documented. And the percentage depends on credit and reliability, which we discussed. And we need to make sure that during the program, they understand that they're going to need to save 2% for closing costs. We're going to give a seller's assist. Keith program, he's going to talk about, I want to steal his thunder. Ricardo's going to be doing something pretty special for MWR members. So he'll discuss that. But you need to end up having that money throughout the time period so that we can end up all being able to be successful within the deal. And have the desire. You can't just say want. Want is different than desire. Want, I want that. Desires, I want that. You know what I mean? I want that. Because then that's going to show that you're going to be following what we're telling you to do. And the ability to follow the plan that we lay out. That's very important. Because what happens is we're taking somebody's behavior and we're bringing it over and we're risking, we're gambling that this person is going to do what they got to do for 4 to 6 months. And about 92%. But sometimes people don't do what they got to do. So, that's where it is. But MWR, I hope I can get that number up to 100.
Mario.
Yes.
And that's the $7,000 to $10,000. One of the great things about what we have is because MWR Financial, sometimes people may not have it. But because we do, and you heard Brian Bean earlier say, we save money. What do we do with the second thing? Say it again. And then we what? But what's that second thing? Make money. So all you do is build a business, and literally, you may not, through your job, be able to save $7,000 to $10,000 to get into a program based on that example. However, and I'll stand up here. However, you will be able to build a business. Okay, I want you to think about this. Do you realize with a team of 12, you're at $600 a month, that's $7,200 in a year? And if that's all you did was say, because I want to buy a home and I know I'm going to need that, I'm putting that $600 a month away. Are you guys with me here? And if you understand how to get things written off, you understand how to put that away where you have that at the end. But then here's the other thing. You have a team of about 50. You're looking at $900 a month. That's $10,800 a year. You guys with me here? Yes. You have a team of about 150. That's $100 a day. $3,000 a month. It only takes you about 90 days. You're good to go. Are you guys with me here? Okay, get excited. That's what we're talking about. See the power of MWR Financial and what we can do with U.S. Housing Exchange together. You literally can take someone who thought there was no shot. And if they're starting to be on their path to home ownership and doing what Mario just said, helping them get there, do they know some other folks that will do the same? Yeah. They can their own apartment building, can't they? Absolutely. You see that tie down, Brian MD, can't they? I have a feeling that this room is going to be showing that play today. All right.
So we require all of our clients, when they're in our program, they got to have all their bills on auto pay. And my staff will look and see everything that reports to the credit bureau, and will need to be documented because we don't want that bad habit to come in and then get a 3-day late right before we're trying to close. So then that's required in our program with evidence. All right? And also, answer your phone. A lot of bad credit people, they don't answer the phones. They think they got a collection agency calling. I'm like, answer your phone. When you see our number come up, that's the back phone. Answer the phone. All right? Phone, email, text. We've been trying to make sure we're getting in contact with everybody. All right? And follow directions. We're laying it out. We help people with 400 plus score. So that's documented. We can already do that. We proved it. I went and did videos at the closing table. So then people are like, all right, well, they actors? Yeah, they're actors. We did all that for you. I'm like, come on, man. But we want people to follow the directions. And I tell people all the time, when they ask me, give them the third week, I said, the only reason why you're even talking to me right now is because you didn't pay somebody on time. If you would have paid somebody on time, we wouldn't be talking because you'd go straight to the mortgage company. So bring it down a notch. All right? And ability to remain focused even in turmoil, because bad credit people, I was a bad credit person, so I'm not only the founder, I was a bad. Remember 427 credit score. I wasn't the best example of having good credit, but you got to remain focused even within turmoil. So people get drama, and all of a sudden, I couldn't do this, and then here's the reason. An excuse is a lie that you tell yourself. That's all an excuse is. That's it. No new purchases. Wow. Who did this? Todd, you did that? Come on, man. No new purchases while we're in the program. I had a girl. Oh, my God. I'm getting mad even just thinking about it. Credit score goes up. She's all excited, telling me she got a 700. She started at 510. I was like, ooh. I said, but why are you texting me this like on the weekend and everything? I'm chilling. She's like, oh, I just got a car too. I was like, what? What? I said, what's the payment? Oh, it's only $550. I was like, your debt ratio's right there. So then I had to bring her daughter on the thing, and I already had her at 7, brought her down from 517, and then her daughter, Todd, what was that girl's score? No, in Willowboro. I had to start back and forth something to get with somebody else so we can get her credit right and put the man out. Oh, delayed me almost 90. It took me about 80 something days. It wasn't that bad, but it still delayed my money 80 something more days. Oh man. Oh, in the program. All right. I was gonna say, man. All right, so going from MWR Financial to U.S. Housing Exchange, everybody is required to come from MWR to U.S. Housing Exchange. Can't come directly to us. So if they try to Google and go to U.S. Housing Exchange, they're going to hear that the price is $1,000. And then they'll probably come right back to you.
Yeah.
But they can't come through any other place other than from MWR. Yes. Remember, I'm not just a service provider. I'm building a sales team at the same time. I'm with you guys. I'm excited. It's going to be, I get 20 hours every day at 4 o'clock. Every day at 4 o'clock. I get my 20 hours. I told Adamo knows I made $300,000 in a month. Wow. Several months in a row. And I'm just excited with a little $20. Every day at 4 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock in Texas. I guess it's 5 o'clock out here. You're like, bing! I'll be like, I'll get 30. Brian, I'm coming after you. I'm coming after you, man. competitive person. So U.S. Housing Exchange, you've got to come through this. We're a team. It's not separate. We were separate. We're a team now. Okay?
Yes.
Adamo, this is you, bro. Oh, thank you. So the MWR Financial Plan of Action, we all know what that is. That we now know that it's all of our services, so it's tax reduction, right? Oh, put the yeah. I want to see the picture. I don't know how to. Oops. Sorry. Okay, there you go. Okay. So we have the MWR Financial Plan of Action. So that means that you're doing the tax reduction, the bill negotiation, the credit restoration, or the debt elimination and credit restoration. You guys with me? Yeah. So you want to get all those things in place and in order because that puts you on the path to be able to qualify to go into the program. Does that make sense? Yes. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay, great. So then when you do that, then you're going to be able to apply to the U.S. Housing Exchange. Because if you don't have that, they're going to just send you right back. Because we want to make sure, did we say we're going to give you a clear path to ownership? Yes. Did you hear Mario say just a moment ago you have to follow what? Direction. Follow what? Direction. Follow what? Direction. And that's what I love about this business. We just follow direction. So if follow direction, and all you do is you make sure that person comes in, they say, I want to be a homeowner. Great. Have they been a homeowner before you? Probably not, right? Or they're renting and they don't want to be renting and now they want a home. So they know our credit is challenged, so they can't even believe you're talking to them. Am I right? Right. They are kind of like, I can't believe that's possible, but now they're able to see it's possible, so they have to follow something that may be different than what they're used to. Are you guys with me here? Yeah. So it's going to be up to us to make sure that we put people in the right position so they follow. And the right position is just they join MWR Financial. Is that good or fantastic? Yeah. Fantastic. You're building your team. Are you guys with me here? Yeah. And then they're plugging into the services. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then they apply to the U.S. Housing Exchange. And then if they're accepted, they'll get a pre-qualification so they know exactly how much they can buy from our mortgage company, which you hear from Cardinal Financial. Are you guys with me here? Yes. If they don't, let's say because they didn't do a step, they said, oh yeah, I did this, and they sent it, you thought they did it, because we don't know, it's all confidential. Is that bad or fantastic? It's fantastic, confidential, but they try to skip the step because they want to get the program real quick. Guess what they're coming back to? Yes. Coming right back. You guys with me? Coming right back to who? To you, right? They're coming right back to you to do that so they can get there. And then once they do that, they're going to get matched up with a certified realtor. You understand what that means in a moment. The U.S. Housing Exchange, they'll be able to buy a house. The rehab work start. They'll move to the property. The mortgage starts. And now the landlord is fired. Is that why are you guys so weak? Like we said, there was the Happy Meals went down, or not, whatever meals. I should know them all, right? The meal went down to back down to $1.99. You guys, are we got someone, a homeowner that came in with a 4-something, and now their scores are up, and they are in home. That's the thing, is that we're laying out the play. All you got to do is follow the playbook, and that's what you guys are going to have the advantage of because nobody's come up with this before. No one. I did a patent search before I filed my division. No one has this technology. No one. Everybody has, you got these credit restoration companies. I'm not going to call out any of their names. They should be all targets. Put that target right on their back because they can't deliver the house. They don't have the guts. I hope they're listening. They don't have the guts. I say this all the time. If you really can fix credit, why don't you buy somebody a house for them? Fix your credit while they're in the house. Show me. Show us. Walk the walk, baby. That's what it is. So the items needed for mortgage pre-qualification, we put a 30-day waiting period in MWR. So when you're in MWR, we're going to be collecting these documents because we're still going to pre-qualify you. So if you get a client, let them know, look, you're probably going to be in the credit portion of the program for at least 30 days because we have to be able to make sure that we have everything set up for you investor, a lot of other things, capital contributor. I got to correct myself on that too. 2 years W-2s, 2 years tax returns only if you're 1099 or self-employed. All right, so now I want to introduce to you. Oh, we'll take a little break. All right, yeah, everybody stand up, stretch. And then Keith, you can use the. You're gonna come up here and get this from me, Keith. Just so you know, you stay there. Okay. Oh, he wants to lock. Oh, he wants to switch. Okay, let's switch. Everybody, stand up. DJ, if you give us some music that kind of gets that energy going again. Everybody, turn to the wall. This wall over here. I guess your left. All right, your left. Turn to that wall. Come on, everybody. Let's follow directions. Stand where it is. Okay, turn to that wall. Reach to the person in front of you. Give them a massage. Work it out. Give them a massage. Let them know it. Let them know it. All right, let them know it. Let's make it good. I appreciate you. Make sure you couple them. Okay. All right. Okay, got you. Are everybody ready? Okay. Are we ready for Keith? No, everybody's not ready. No, the other side said, we got it much longer. We still, okay, I see what happened. I said, gentlemen, keep your hands above the waist. Look at you back there. I see you. Yeah, see, you didn't know. I see you. All right. Oh, really? You take back snacks and big large Well, now, I want to tell you a little bit about the person that is about to come up here. Even though he came in, you know, with the flashback of Miami Vice. This brother right here, with the mortgage industry, he really knows it. I've been working with him. I just got my license, but I've been working with him about 6 months. And he's been miraculous off of things that he has made deals go where everybody else is saying no. Yeah. So we're about to end up having something in industry because we're about to get things done that no one else can get done. So introducing Keith Belton from Cardinal Financial, our new strategic partner.
Mario, I appreciate the introduction. Mr. House, Adamo, thank you so much for this opportunity. But let me go ahead and get this started real quick for you. Okay.
Switch.
Ready? Cardinal Financial, basically, how did I get here? I've been in the industry since 2003. Started out with Countrywide Home Loans. I'm not sure if many of y'all know about Countrywide. One thing about Countrywide, they were an expert. And what they did was they trained me to be an expert. And one thing they did train me on is not being a one-trick pony, basically knowing one program. So when someone called in, I was only able to sell one thing. I mean, I wasn't going to be around long. But what they did teach me was to learn the portfolio, what would make a fit best for our client. So that means I have to have a lot of upfront conversation. Going through the history, how did I get to Cardinal? Basically, I was at Countrywide Home Loans for a while, and I was the #1 sales rep there for about 3 years. What did that do for me? That allowed me to take care of my family, but also learn a skill that would be able to take me to the next. With Cardinal, that they go beyond the bird. What that means is there's no limit. There's no limit at all. The bird flies high, but guess what? The sky is higher. Yeah. That's where we want to take you guys. Getting into the real estate game, that's what's going to get you sky high, basically. Becoming a homeowner creates wealth. What that means is making wealth real, right? Yes. That's it. Yes.
It's kind of low.
So with Beyond the Bird, that takes you talk to a little bit about us. So basically, we're about people, process, technology, and products. Okay. People first. If we don't have people, we don't have the ability to do both. We don't have the ability to create wealth. The process. If you don't have a process, you don't win. You end up sputtering. You end up saying something you can't do. And at the end of the day, you don't do what you say, you don't become successful. Yeah. Now, technology, with the app coming out, you got to be able to match technology. Technology is what skips and gets time, saves time for you. Time is the #1 killer of any kind of transaction when it comes to real estate. If you waste time, you lose the deal. Someone else comes and takes it from you. Rates change, you lose programs, and at the end of the day, you don't get in the home.
I'm gonna lift you up a little bit.
Got it. Is that better? Yeah. Okay.
You count to 10 for me. Count to 10 for me, real quick.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so let's back up a little bit. Cardinal Financial. Okay, people, process, technology, and products. That's what changed. That's what separates us from any other person in the industry. If you start dealing with like a Wells Fargo or you deal with a broker, they're very limited to what they can be able to do. With Cardinal Financial, and why MWR is partnering with us, why U.S. Housing Exchange is partnering with us, is because we have multiple products that are in-house
What that means is if you're dealing with me or my team, we're going to go directly to the source. That means if our underwriters are in-house, our processes are in-house. That means I control all of them. We're based out of Charlotte. Right? Amazing place. A lot of successful people. One thing we want to do is deliver the best experience. That's one of the main keys when you guys go ahead and explain to them how they get in MWR. They go through the app. They go through the process of, getting the rehab and going through the home. They're in the home. At the end of the day, you don't want to send them to my team and they have a bad experience. And then at the end of the day, they make a bad remark on your team. Yeah. So when you send your team to us, we're going to make sure we take care of them completely. Yeah. Okay. And you're going to know right off the bat this person is a winner or a loser. I hate to say it like that, but we're not going to waste time. Remember that. Yeah. All right. What do we stand for? Flexible products. That means for you guys being self-employed, how does that help you guys? We have multiple products that can help you. Has anyone ever heard of a bank statement loan? No. Okay. So what I can do is look at 12 months of your bank statements, take 100% of your deposits, and generate an income for you. Wow. So what that means is, hey, all you need is that 3%, that 3.5%, and we're doing business. Because you've already came through MWR. You already got your credit together. You already got your taxes together. You already have your income coming in. Probably 100 people, so what you're making $900, $1,200 a month on top of whatever you're bringing in. So that helps you out. Has anyone ever heard of a? Yeah, go ahead. It all depends on credit score, correct? Correct. It's not one. It's flexible. That means that we're able to. You got good credit, you're gonna get a better result than someone with a little less credit. Oh. Correct. Have you ever heard of a P&L loan? So I can do a year-to-date P&L and close your deal. Some people don't know what that is. The P&L is a profit and loss. That means all you got to do is show me you made $200,000, your loss was $100,000, and you now have an income of $100,000. But it's a process, right? You gotta follow directions. You gotta be in MWR. You gotta go through U.S. housing check. Because they're gonna be able, when they come to me, they already know what we require. They're gonna already have that in place. Yeah. So my team doesn't waste time. All right, so secure and insecure. Basically, we want to make sure we keep all your stuff private. So you send me your bank statements, and you got 90 in SF. Hey, some people, you got to do what you got to do, right? That's supposed to be on. That stays with me. Or hey, you make $300,000 a month. That stays with me. Because at the end of the day, the reason why you're using bank statements is because you don't have tax returns. Or your tax returns have been to a certain point where it's not showing the revenue that you need to be able to get into the home. Yes. Right? So we protect you through bank statements. Yes. Or P&L. Then we also have the world-class. Only certain people know. Y'all don't know. About this program here. It's called the statement program. I can state what you make, and we can do business. See, some people know how powerful that is. Yes. When you're talking to your team, if you have an event like this, and there's 50 to 200 people sitting in there, and you're telling them, hey, once you go through it, sign up with me, and you go through MWR, we're going to make you a homeowner. You're going to be able to do exactly that. Awesome. No way Brian could be where he is today without him doing exactly what he said. So when he partners with people and he partners with my team, we're going to do exactly what we said. Yes. Hey, this is my favorite part right here. We're going to keep it real. We're going to keep it real. That means when you send me a client and he's not qualified, you're going to know immediately. But guess what? I'm going to send you a plan for him to be successful. Wow. have a client right now that every time we get into the finish line, right, something pops up, man. I've seen Mario literally make a change in this person's credit within, I would say hours, but I'm gonna give you a whole day, right? Then you give me that paperwork back in like I don't know how he did it. I went back, pulled the credit, and it was updated. Some people, if you're in the industry, you understand you don't get updates that quick. But guess what? The team, the circle, experts. When you're dealing with experts, you ain't gotta worry. When you're dealing with unprofessional people, you gotta worry. We're gonna keep it real. After the years that I've worked with, I've been to some of the events, and I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. So I was introduced to MWR way before I met Mario, but it intrigued me because they were talking the talk and walking the walk. Sometimes you'll hear Wells Fargo's investing $200 million in the community, and they're gonna help people get homes, right? Have you ever met anybody that Wells Fargo got their I mean, how you put $200 million somewhere and nobody knows one person? Stop. Real tough. So I went to the event, and there were people on site that were qualified and had no clue they could get a home. I went through, and the young lady in the back named Beverly, a friend of mine named Cardell Williams, he introduced me to. But there were people there that I could get in the house in 30 days that were renting from someone for 15 years. Wow. 15 years. Wow. So I'm gonna give away some shirts. I'm gonna get some of y'all get some shirts and stuff. I'm gonna ask a couple questions and see if y'all know these answers. If you're renting, how much is your interest rate? Woo! No, that's quick, man. You sure you want a shirt? Okay. Hey, he's a real. Hey, so okay, there you go. So you're paying 100%. So if you call me and my team and ask me what the rate is, what does that matter? Realistically, you calling me asking me what my rate is, and my rate's too high. You paying 100% for 15 years. Okay, great. So what that means is if you get a rate you get something from me that's at 3%, I just saved you 97% of your money. Now you save 97% for 15 years to see how much money you have. Remember Brian was talking about having $1 million in your account? That's how you have $1 million in your account. We're gonna keep it real. We're gonna keep it simple. Okay? What I mean by that is you're gonna know what you're gonna need before you even talk to the client. Okay? You're gonna know what you need. I'm gonna partner with you. I have access to about 400 reps. So I'm gonna partner you with a top tier expert loan officer. So they're gonna come through me first. So you're gonna know they'll be top tier. You're gonna be able to work together. If you're in Charlotte, you're in North Carolina, you're in Virginia, you're wherever you're at, you're gonna be able to work together to make sure you have a plan so you're able to capture W-2 clients. That means people that are white collar. You got your blue collar, you got your self-employed, you got your hustlers, you got make a lot of cash, right? Places you can go to strictly cash. They model well, they got beautiful shoes. Let me tell you something. I got plenty of them in homes right now living in country club in the South. Living on there. It's amazing. Can you buy a house? A stated program. Stated program. There's some more stuff that's going to roll out about LLCs and stuff like that as Mario will elaborate later on. Stated with an LLC and you liquid. Do what you love. There's no way you're here Hey, being part of the white people. Doing what you love. Now, hey, you're here because you love being successful. You love making money. You love networking. I hope that's why you're here. You're in the wrong spot. You're in the wrong parameters. I mean, you're not going to be successful in this if you don't love that. Okay, I'm the SC group. My partner is David Snyder. He's a park leader. He handles the whole East Coast. Mississippi River over. I'm the area man. I'm South, Virginia and down. That's me. So either way, we're gonna be able to take care of it. You'll be dealing with a lot with me, but that's my business partner. I want to let you know who he is. There might be certain situations where you might be speaking with him. This is some of my team right here. Got Mario down there at the bottom. But we're very diverse. That means we're experts in any aspect of the game. Yes. Okay? That means if you need bilingual, if you need someone that speaks Portuguese, I got you. Yes. Of course, you don't get somebody speaking Spanish, you definitely not you. Yeah. Okay? I got teams in Alabama right now. What? Mobile, Birmingham. If you're from the South, you understand what I mean? I got reps that can go in any situation to perform. And I've trained every single one of them. Now, why did I partner with Cardinal? Why? I met up with anyone, right? I could have done my own thing, the own growth, right? Okay. I'm not afraid to work. But you gotta work smarter, not harder, right? That's the key. You can always work hard if you limit yourself. We're built for speed. So basically, Cardinal is a software company that got into the mortgage industry. Okay? So what that means is they're all about processes. They're all about having the top of the line technology and eliminating lag. What that means is, having to do a lot of data entry in multiple spots. If you ever took an application for anything, you got to put the address here. Oh, then you got to put the address over here. Oh, now you got to add the address again, okay? Just those type of steps and doing 1,000 applications in a month would take you a week. It's a week to put in addresses. You can't make money like that. So they were built for speed. They were built for speed. And that's what made me go to them, because they had the technology where everything was paper. Mario, I had a typical piece of paper in 6 months. And most people are thinking, do you ever about how much paperwork did you have to sign? Right? Okay, oh my goodness, right? Right. At some point, you just doing this like bam. So with this, it's just click. Now you just click. You don't have to print it. You don't have to go to publish and ship back. You don't have to do a lot of scanning. But what that means is we're built for volume. Yeah. Volume. Volume means money. Tell me, let you know right now. So we want to make sure we have the best end-to-end mortgage experience, period. Okay. So what that means is you're not going to have to worry about us saying something at the beginning and falling at the end. So we talked a little bit about products. So we have products that fit lifestyle. So does anybody know what the minimum amount, what's the least amount of money you can put down on a home? 0. So can you get in for no money? That means you pay no money. You walk up and basically get in for free? Is that what that? If you're in real estate, don't say anything, but that means you don't get in the house for free. No. Okay, so what's left? Wait, I'm sure what's left. There we go. Closing. A lot of people forget that. So they'll tell you, hey, we got a down payment assistance program, and you can, you don't have to pay a down payment. But guess what? Your closing costs are the same 3% of the down payment. You got escrow, you got taxes, you got title work, you got attorney fees, you got in certain states you got a transfer tax that's 1. In Philadelphia, you got a transfer tax that's 1.5% of the loan. Both sides, that's 3% just for the transfer tax. Just for the transfer tax. So understand the game, and that's why they getting us. Understand. So we have, performing loans, you have FHA, you got DU Refer Plus. So what that means is there's a thing called desktop underwriting, where they make the decision if you get in or not. Okay, no matter, it's not me, I don't have the ability to just say, you get in. So what that means is, if they don't say approved, eligible, that means you're not getting in. But because my company is the size it is, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit later why we can do it, if you can get, it says a thing called refer eligible. That means you're almost there, right? We have programs that'll get you in. Let's go. That means you're right there. You got this right. Go ahead and get you in, get you this home. Now you have home, you have Fannie Mae, Home Ready, Home Possible. Those are programs that are built for people that don't have a super high income, but still have decent credit, and they basically need a little bit of love on the end. So that means you don't pay as much on your down payment. There's a thing called mortgage insurance that people don't know about. That's another thing that you got to pay monthly. You have less mortgage insurance. That means your mortgage insurance is less. Okay, that allows you to what? Approve for more. So that 150,000, now you're 250. Now you're moving on up. Because if you try to buy something for 150 to live in, that's gonna be tough. Now you have the VA. VA is a veteran loan. If you're a veteran, knock you out. Hey, I'm calling out. Right now, that's the easiest loan to get in. I've seen them do loans for people with 70% of their debt to income ratio. That means 70%. That will give you 100% of that loan. Plus, you can go over $2,000. I bet you didn't know that. Bet you can go to 101. That 1% allows you to go and pay that closing cost. Now you get a good realtor. Now you get some real aggressive realtors that say, hey, you got to pay at least 4% of this person that's buying this $400,000 house. Now guess what? You in the house with no money. You show up. All you gotta do is show up in your shorts, white t-shirt, and some flip-flops. They're gonna give you some keys. You know how all the time. We're gonna teach you that. So when you tell that VA how to do it, and the realtors get together, you telling them exactly what to do, so that person spends nothing. Or guess what? I'm gonna give you $500 on that closing, because if you're a VA person, you ain't supposed to pay for that appraisal. You're gonna need that money back. So those are just some standard loans. Everybody should have access to these, but those are some standard loans. Then you run into some doctors. You have a doctor loan. That means I'm gonna tell you the benefit, or medical field. That means nurses. Anything in the medical field. So what that means is a lot of them have student loans through the roof. I've seen doctors. I did a doctor loan for somebody, right? And thank God I did. He had $2 million in student loans. I don't know what school he went to. But he was accepted. Every time they sent him a thing saying there was a student loan, he was like, yeah, I need that student. But guess what? If I was there's some program where you have to take the payment. You can defer it, but guess what? They don't defer it. They still require 1% on there. So basically, that's too much. That's $20,000. So he wouldn't have qualified. The doctor's program, you're allowed to have that deferred completely. You don't even count that. Or the medical field. Anything. It's called doctor, but it's a medical field. So I'm gonna tell you, nurses are booming right now. There's nurses everywhere right now. Those are great. They're great programs. Then you got your down payment assistance. Once again, we're flexible, 3% down payment. You won't hear a lot of that. Not many companies do 3% down payment. It's a minimum 3.5, which is FHA, and then 5%, which is conventional. You never hear about the 3% because they don't offer it. We definitely. Here's another thing, though. What we're going to do when we partnered with MWR and U.S. Housing Exchange, I had a meeting with Brian House, Adamo, and we're all on a call together. And you get on these calls and you hear people talk about what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. And sometimes it comes to fruition, sometimes it doesn't. But the crazy part about it is I've already been introduced to MWR early and I knew what he could do. Then I knew what Mario could do, so we were working together. So when Mario called me and told me he was partnering with this company, I sat and took a deep breath because I couldn't believe God connected the dots. Yeah. And working through you, you don't have to talk. Yeah. Because you're in his presence and everything's going well. Yeah. Y'all remember the call? I was talking to him, and right in the middle of it, the devil came in and it shut down my internet. Right, we were getting to the good part. Like, are you kidding me? I was like, wait a minute, how did this happen? And I called my phone. I tapped in on my phone immediately. God gives you an option. So what I said was, you know what I'm willing to do with my company is anybody that comes through MWR and U.S. Housing Exchange, we're going to take care of their appraisal people.
You guys are doing okay in celebrating everything he's saying, but do you understand this is an exclusive relationship? You see, right now, but right now, you better celebrate like it's no tomorrow. Think about this, Keith, and I'll just do this real quick. Because Marlo just said this, he's got you right. Think about this, $450. You realize that's almost 4 months of your membership? Yeah. You understand that? That's taken care of.
So that's going to take it off you because the first thing they're going to ask you whenever you're talking to another company is the second question is, do you have the appraisal? Yeah. Sometimes right now, I'll let you know the market is on fire. Appraisals can go to 550 with ease. And if you go over $1 million, you're talking about $700-800 appraisal. If you go over 1.5, you're talking about 1,000. And guess what? If you bring any of that to the table, we're gonna take care of it. This is just an example of the hardest step in the mortgage game or in buying a home. It's the down payment, right? Yes. Something about the down payment, $1,000, the 3%, the 3.5%. So take a look at this. We got, maybe 100 people in there, right? So how hard would it be y'all to come up with $1,000? Everybody, it's $1,000 to invest in yourself like you're getting ready to do now. Not hard at all, right? So we just think if we were to come together and everybody put that in one pot, we get $100,000. Yeah. So with the scenario that you just ran at 10%, at $10,000, at 200, that's $2 million worth of real estate we just bought as a group together. Y'all here? Why not partner together? I'm gonna tell you right now, I deal with investment groups and they partner together and they get money, period. So that's what we're bringing to you. So now when you're building your line, you start talking about the investment team. Okay? So when you're building your 150 people, you let them know at some point I'm gonna ask you for 1,000 so we can get this thing together. Yes. You're meeting these people. And you start bringing them other clients, they have no reason not to invest together, right? You build that circle of trust. That's the only way you're going to be able to make it, is build the circle of trust. Yeah. Build it. You're already going after these people. Let them know the future. The future is we're going to invest together. Yeah. We get to 50, we're investing together. We got $50,000, we're investing together. Got it? Yeah. So right now, the down payment is the hardest. So we can go back. Freddie Mac, they have a grant that any company can get pretty much. But our company has dived in and became the #1 provider nationwide for this grant. It's called the Freddie Mac Borrow Smart program. What that means is we will give you $2,000 towards your closing costs. It ranges, depends on how much money, but you can go up to $2,000, but the minimum is $1,000. And Freddie Mac gives this money directly to you. They partner with Cardinal because of the system, because of the people, because of the partnerships that we can bring to the table. We're the #1 provider of this grant in the United States of America. If you're a realtor, have you ever heard of that? Nope. Been out for 10 years because you want to deal with experts. Yes. You're an expert. You find these things. People partner with you, right? They partner with you because you're an expert. Yes. Okay, so now I got. Does anybody? Another one. I got one more shirt. I'm gonna get it out. I'm gonna get a nice one with the collar. Anybody know what a mortgage servicer is? Woo! I'm gonna add. You can't answer. In the back back there. Correct. Very limited. So what that means is if you bought a home, if the signing table is telling you they're going to sell the project, sell a loan in 30 days, right? They sell to services, okay? So basically, my company is a service. That means when we do your loan, we keep your loan. Then we sell it to Freddie and Fannie, and we guarantee them for the next 30 years you're going to make your payment on time. Okay, what that does is give us leverage and pricing, okay? What that means is I don't have to make all my money in the upfront of the transaction because I'm making money over the 30, 15, whatever. I'm making more money. So what that means, I can push back to you guys. That means that y'all can get more. That means y'all can be approved for more, and the qualifications are less because we're going to guarantee it. Yes. So when you hear, oh, it's still an underwriting, or the investor said you got to have this. The investor's the one buying the loan. He said, no, we need more. We don't have that problem because we're the servicer, end-to-end experience. Now, with COVID, a lot of people were laid off, haven't been able to work. It's been a lot, right? So you got job gaps. You got furlough act, make less. Because we're a servicer, we're able to be less aggressive. So guess what? You have a 6-month gap, no problem. Letter of explanation, we're doing this. You go find you, call Wells Fargo up, and you got 200 million. Let them know you got a small little gap about 6 months to see how much longer they talk. We're gonna make sure you're taken care of because we know you're back to where you're supposed to be. Yeah. You're back where you're supposed to be. You got through a curveball and you didn't take it. You didn't swing that. In-house processing. Why is that beneficial? I've hired all my processors. So I vetted them out before. Some people are hard to work with. As a processor, your job is to process paperwork. That's it. It goes from here to there. Here to there. Sometimes processes become underwriters. And so what you'll get held up. With my team, we're beginning there. We don't have any problems. Now, let's get to it. Come on, you guys.
take another little mini break. All right, so you guys ready? Did you hear some of the things that are going on that you're going to be able to do for people? And watch this. You don't have to be the experts.
Nope.
What did he say quite a bit up here today? The experts, the experts, the experts. So all you have to know, see, this is where the confidence to go share it with people should be. Go, wait a minute, I can share becoming a clear path to home ownership with any renter in America, and I know they're going to be taken care of along the process. Are you guys with me here?
Yes.
That's power.
Yes.
See, everything you bring to MWR Financial, it's a reality. We don't keep our fingers crossed. I've got to twiddle our nose and all that stuff, hoping it's going to happen on the other end. We know it's going to happen. Are you guys with me here? So that's why what we do, the difference from where you are right now to where you want to be, because remember earlier I said we want to capture 1% in 5 years.
Yes.
So that's 470,000 people. Guess who they come through? I hear a few. I hear a few with a real one. Exactly. So do you understand if they're coming through you, then that means you have to be diligent about sharing the great news that is MWR Financial. You guys with me here? All right, so we're going to go back to Mario. You're going to keep it going. Well, Mario said, do you guys need a break? Or you want to keep going? You need a break? Oh, they're saying keep rolling. They're saying keep rolling. So you're good. We're only at the 50-yard line. Just keep the hand. Okay, so we're going to talk about the college program. Okay. Okay. Oh, it's the call to action with Keith. Okay. If you believe your credit score is 620 or higher, and you want to be able to purchase or refinance that, Cardinal is licensed in all 50 states. All right. But what we're going to do is when you apply, put Houston, Texas as your subject property because that's our processing center. So we'll process it first, then we're going to send it out to the appropriate state because we got different partners that handle every state. You'll always be dealing with my staff or Keith's staff all together. So then if you go on there, you do that. Now, where are they going to do that? Get started button with MWR Financial, and you'll see this week. So you won't see it today, but this week you'll see you're going to get started button, and then it'll have that there, and then you just put, oh, I'm just looking to refinance my house. Then boom, you go there, and then that'll take care of it. Everybody with me? Yes. Okay, great. So yeah, take advantage of the stuff. Yes. If you think about whatever it is that if you're close to it, go ahead and do it. All right? Sellers program. Remember, we're going to have a good source to where we're going to have a lot of different plays, different situations. A lot of people out there are going to be motivated to sell for whatever reason. We're going to be right here to take advantage not of them, but of the situation. Yeah. Okay? So what makes a seller motivated? As we've discussed before, there's going to be homes in foreclosure, pre-foreclosures. There's going to be homes where repairs are needed. Okay? And then we're going to look at vacant or abandoned homes. There's close to 2 million vacant homes in the United States. Even in the seller's market, it's vacant. So we're going to have a whole program that's going to be in place, which Brian gave. What was the amount that they could get on the vacant property program? All right. So it's going to be another way for you guys to make money. Okay. Well, $600, and we're going to have a program in place to put our army out there to get these vacant properties. And again, and then we'll have our staff be able to communicate, negotiate, and put that on the exchange. Okay? And owners, people will go through divorce or for whatever reason, or if they're facing bankruptcy. All these areas are people who's motivated. Any of these different reasons. And people just want to sell sometimes. They might have got a job relocation or whatever. So
Our reason doesn't matter to us. Our reason is to be able to give them a solution for what their situation is. But you know, you got a lot of, if you go to any stoplight and you look at the telephone pole, you see a little sign written out saying we buy houses for cash. You see all that nonsense, right? We're going to tell you a little bit about that in a second. But when we look at used best housing exchange, people will be able to list their properties for free on the exchange. For free. So a lot of these different sites that does wholesale properties and everything like that, they charge to be able to do that. With us, it's always going to be free. That's a way that you can be able to show that, hey, if you're a member and you're with MWR, you can be able to get properties and be able to list it for free. Okay? And then not only that, we will be promoting their properties on social media. We got a very good system for that. So we'll also incorporate that. We're not wholesalers. Wholesalers are people who will advertise that they're buying your property for cash, just as I mentioned, and they're not buying your properties for cash. They're going to get your property under contract, and then they're going to get that under contract, and they're going to sell that contract to somebody else in the middle. Okay? We will partner with some wholesalers, but that's not our thing, you know, because we're also going to go directly to the sources, and we're going to get directly to the sellers because we're going to be able to offer them more money because there's no middleman. For now, we'll work with the wholesalers. You know, I'm not going to demonize them or anything like that because they are doing that work and getting to us to get the properties and everything. But with our system very soon, MWR is going to be able to get direct from the seller direct to the end buyer. And then we'll be able to now be in the middle and get a chance to be able to make some of that upside. Because we're always selling directly to an end buyer. An end buyer is our FYL program. That's the person who is the end buyer. You hear us say end buyer a million times. But we always have an end buyer when we do something. We buy the property in most cases. In some other cases, we use the Halo Foundation. It won't really matter to you. Whoever's in our joint venture program will still make what they're supposed to make. We just look at the deal on a deal by deal basis. We're using a different strategy between what it was. We'll tell you if you care, but we'll tell you what we're doing, how we're doing it, so you'll know. Sellers will make more money with us because there's no middleman. There's no middleman in the equation. Okay, so that's how we're able to do this. Find a credit repair company talking about what we're talking about. That's MWR. They went to the next level. So that's what we're talking about. All right. So what we just mentioned with the vacant properties, I said there was almost 2 million vacant properties in the United States. These are all motivated sellers. Every last one of them are going to be motivated. Most of them gave up. Sometimes, like when we had Hurricane Hart, the insurance wasn't paying out, and then people just left their properties because they owed too much money and they just left. But when we get to them, we can be able to make sure that we're going to be able to solidify those deals. There's neighborhoods in Atlanta where I bought a property in Southwest, probably about 15 minutes from here. I was visiting yesterday, the property I'd never even seen it before. Going to make about 100 grand on that one. but on that particular street, there was at least 9 or 10 vacant properties on that street. I was like, wow, they're all over the place. We find them, buy them, fix them for more inventory. We want inventory. The biggest thing that we're going to be needing in this thing is the monster that we're creating with all these end buyers. It's going to come through the FYL program. We need inventory. And we're going to get it in more than just one way. So don't panic if there's not a lot of properties. Now, what most of you got, what everybody's here for, is our joint venture program. Yes. This is our fit for profit program right here. Yes. This is what's going to make you a lot of money. Woo! In our process, it's going to be possible if we continue to roll and we're getting to what our averages are for everybody to be able to double their money. It's possible in 18 months. With our averages, on what we have, with our averages, we can go as little as that time. Of course, it'll be case by case, but that's what our goal is. Now, when we're going to talk about creating wealth through real estate, our Flip for Profit program is going to be the flagship way we're going to do something. Okay, so when we flip a property, means that we're planning on selling that property within a 12-month period. I like to do it in 90 days. I like to. That's what our goal is a lot of times. But FHA has rules that sometimes if we're going through an FHA deal, we have to have it under title for a minimum of 91 days. That's why we always say 4 to 6 months. So for our investors, 6 months. We'll be working behind the scenes to try to get it in, but don't call, don't be out 90 days. Hey, what's going on? 6 months. We'll try to do something sooner than that, but 6 months, you put your mind in, and we're doing it for 6 months. Okay, traditionally, real estate investors buy the property first. They fix it up, they do everything, and then they put it other ways. We reverse engineered that. We start with the end buyer first, and then we get the property, and then now we got the end buyer right off the bat. Okay, problems with traditional flip strategy. I'm not going to dog traditional flips because there's been a lot of millionaires made like that. I don't have the stomach for it. I won't be able to fall. I won't be able to sleep at night and everything like that. Because I'm like, who's going to buy this house? So it's not for me. Okay, so there's no exit strategy. An exit strategy isn't, hey, I'm going to call my realtor and list it, because you're still dealing with risk, more risk. I like having my end buyer off the bat. The only thing I got to do is I got to gamble on myself that I'm going to get the credit right, and I'm going to get that credit right. So I'm not worried about the credit. So there's no exit strategy traditionally. Okay? Then what they do is they over-rehab these properties. They might have watched HDTV or something like that, put the marble in a house in a low-income area. I was like, dude, what are you doing? I get so mad when I bought a property, and then we're looking at and the appraiser put some of these things. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you putting all that money into the property? Because they don't know who their end buyer is. So they're competing with the regular MLS. They're competing, and there's only a certain amount of people that's going to be out there. I know we're in a seller's market, but I'm disciplined. I'm going to do the same thing every time, whether I'm in seller or buyer's market, because that can flip on you quick. So why develop a bad habit? Holding costs. When you buy that property and you don't have an exit strategy, you've got the interest that you're having to pay out, or the opportunity cost. If it's money that you save, that's opportunity cost. That money could have been doing something else. Okay, so that holding cost, you may not have an end buyer for 4 months, 5 months. You still got to be paying all those different types of things. You got vacant dwelling insurance, which is expensive it's very expensive. Caught myself. It's very expensive. You see, so because what happens is it's more risk for the insurance company because there's nobody in there. So you're paying 2 times the cost of regular homeowners insurance. Okay, and then you have a lot of unscrupulous contractors, which really eats up your profit because they're giving you a price to pay for something. And then you're like, okay, and we found something. We took down the wall and we saw this. It's an extra 10, 15 grand, whatever. And you can get murdered by that particular step right there. I know because it's happened to me. And why I came up with everything that I came in, because I took an L. So you guys are going to benefit from my pain on what I had to experience before we came in with an audible. And then you got to take commissions out whether or not you have to lower the sale price or not. Okay, that 6%, that's going to be paid out no matter what. Okay, so now look at our model. Our exit strategy, we already got the end buyer from the beginning. From the inception of the deal, we got the end buyer. No over rehab, it's customized to the buyer. So we're going to do new kitchens, new bathrooms, new floors, paint, whatever the stuff is. If it's carpet, we're going to make sure that the plumbing, the HVAC, the roof, all that stuff, we're going to make sure it's compliant. Okay, but we're not going to go crazy like what I see some of these guys do. I got investors that must have went to a seminar or something like that. They're on Facebook posting what they put on there. I'm like, dude, you just threw 20 grand away. I get upset. I'm like, what are you doing that for? But we're going to know exactly what we're going to be doing. They're going to sign off on what we're going to do. We're going to have a memorandum of understanding with our buyers, and then we're going to go according to what that actually is. Holding costs, as soon as the rehab is done, they're going to be paying temporary rent. The temporary rent is offsetting our holding costs. It's a wash. Actually, we end up making a little bit of money. Okay? So that's going to end up being very, very diligent because that increases our profit on the back end because we're not losing money on those holding costs. Contractors. Todd will come up a little in a second. He's going to talk about what the contractor portion is. But we have something called the senior construction advisor, which you're going to see what the difference of that between a general contractor and an SCA. SCA, that's for us. That's our guy that's there. He is there and has to have a certain amount of experience, and he's going to be the one doing quality control on the job. And we got people exterior that we're Big Brother. So we have that place cambered up, and we got guys with a lot of experience watching that SCA who's watching the guys who's there. So we got watchers for the watchers for the watchers. Just because I've been beat too many times by contractors. Then commissions, we pay the commissions. The realtors will get paid when we buy a house. But typically, when you buy a house for an investor, unless they come back to you and list the property, and they could be choosing to rent the property, the realtor is not guaranteed to make anything. But what we're doing is, if a realtor is within MWR and they can only come to our program, they can't come in unless they are in MWR. No realtor can. If you want to be a certified realtor, if you're talking about that, you have to come in. Look at all the members we have in this organization. And all these people that's here is going to tell 10 people. So this group is going to be responsible for 1,000 people coming in, and I promise you, this is going to be 1,000 home buyer deals. So then who's going to be doing, who can do all these real estate closings? So then that's the reason why even realtors are going to recruit other realtors. Because you're not going to be bound just by getting people in your state. You're going to get compensated from realtors all over the United States. All right? But we're also going to pay 1% just for going to closing. That's it. That's all we want them to do. We want our end buyers, our FYO buyers, to feel comfortable. I can't go to every closing. So we're having the realtor who found the property for them, and all they got to do is go to closing, and they're going to get 1% of the after repair value from the sales contract. That's not happening. That doesn't happen everywhere. Because all you got to do is go to closing. Okay? U.S. housing exchange is more efficient. It's definitely going to be less headaches than a traditional deal. It's going to have more accountability because there's so many people in this, from you guys to the end buyer, to us, to the investors, to everybody's there to look and make sure that thing is right. Everybody. Okay? And there's more profit and less risk. Okay? Now, Brian stole my thunder earlier. But we're going to be doing something that is unheard of. And actually, Brian deserves 100% credit for this. Because I'm going to tell you, our investors in our business plan, and Donald has the business plan, we thought we were doing something, giving 8% per annum, 8%, and they're going to get 5% on the back end, on the net profit. Brian said, hold my beer. And he said, you know what? If we're going to be MWR, and we're going to be making wealth real, let's prove it.
Yes.
Okay, let's prove it. No words of mine. He said MWR stands for making wealth real. We got to do something more. So he said, let's go 20%. Almost 3 times what I would pay an investor because you're not doing nothing. I already have 80% of the money, and then I got 100% of the rehab money. So then we're bringing in a JV junior investor to come in with the 20% of the acquisition price, which I'll show an example in a second. But you're going to get 12%, you're going to get that 20%. Now remember, how long did I say that our average hold time is going to be? 4 to 6 months, but what's my target? My target is 90 days. So now, if we did something in 90 months, 90 months. That's too long, guys. We're talking about it in 90 months. But if we did something in 90 days, you still made 12%, 12 months interest on that 20%.
Yes. Yes.
I'm going to show a real example. This particular property, that was ugly. But this property, we were able to buy this property for $59,995. Right? That's what we was able to get the property for. Okay, when we did the analysis of the work, it was going to be an estimated cost of repairs of $30,000. Now, our $30,000 is the equivalent of somebody else's 50-something thousand because we're not using general contractors. We're not using that. We're using the work, not the general contractor. Okay? So when we say 30, that 30 is no fat in that 30. So when we get to the 30, we're going to be at an after repair value of $104,000 in this particular case. So then that's going to leave a net profit or a gross profit of $50,000. Okay, but now that's gross. We still got some costs that we have to come out of this. So we still got to end up paying out roughly, the commission that we're going to have to pay out, the closing costs we're going to pay out. We got a seller assistant to help our buyer come in with, match with Cardinal to be able to help our people out. And at the end, if I'm being conservative, I just said 10,000. It shouldn't be 10,000, but I just said that. So then it should be, let's say, 40,000. 20% of 40,000 is 2,000. 2,500 is 5% of the net profit. That means 4,500 net profit on $12,000. That's over 30% interest. We can only do this, not with your individual self. We don't do this with no individuals. It has to be through LLC. Because that's the only way we can have it be non-accredited investors. We're going to be doing a joint venture, and guess what? You're going to be able to also add depreciation. Wow. Which I'll let Brian B talk about what that means. Because if we don't sell that property and the year flips, even if we plan on selling that property, you're going to get to be able to deduct the depreciation because we're putting you on the deed. You're going to have ownership in the property. The tax code doesn't care if you are a junior partner or a senior partner. You just have to be on the deed. Okay? So then that's what we want you to do. We want you to be smarter with your money. Not to work harder, but to work smarter. Okay? So then this is what our goal is to be able to not do gentrification. This is about the biggest slide. I want everybody to pay attention to this slide. Because the majority of this room knows that there are a lot of African-American, Latino cities. They are doing something called gentrification. Explain what gentrification means. It means that people have lived in these cities their entire life. And then what's happening is you're having a certain segment of developers are coming in, and then they are saying, we want these particular areas. So then what they do is they end up buying properties, And then they will have private sales that are astronomically high because they want to reset comps in those areas. So they're not using a bank to do it. These are people with a lot of deep pockets. And they say, we want to sell these, we want to put brownstones in these neighborhoods. Look what they did in Brooklyn. Look what they did in Harlem. Look what they did in Chicago. Look what they did in Atlanta. They're doing it all over the country. Okay? Because what's happening is the people that's there, they might have paid off houses. They might be sitting there. But guess what happens? And that houses come in the neighborhood, and the neighborhood values are pushed to $500,000, $600,000. What do you think is going to happen? So property taxes, even if your house is paid off, now your property taxes, it was crazy. And then the people that are in there can't even take advantage of the fact that they got all this equity because their credit's bad. So guess who needs to be MWR members is the people in those inner cities. Because people already said you can be stated income loans. So then if we help those people get their credit right, they refinance, then they just rent the place out and they own that house and then they don't get moved out. They're pushing us out. And what we're going to do to fight this is when we have areas that have a lot of dilapidated properties and vacant lots, we are going to buy those properties. We're going to sell it to people that they can afford to do house. We want to look at the to look like this, but like it, and you're gonna see something that's gonna blow your mind in a second. But we're gonna do something like in a place in New Jersey. Yeah. They have it's an inner city, it's the most dilapidated city in New Jersey. It's not Camden. It's not Camden. Nope, it's not Jersey City. Patterson. It's not Patterson. It's not North Jersey. It's South Jersey. Salem City, New Jersey. Yes. And you're going to see the mayor very shortly of Salem City, New Jersey in there talk about a agreement with MWR and they want us to help build their redevelopment. We're going to be doing modular construction, which means the houses are made in a factory. And then they come to locations about 80% done. Oops. And what we're going to do is we're going to be doing duplexes where we can. We're going to create a couple different things. And what we're going to do is we're going to sell them for about $170,000, $180,000. 3-bedroom, 2-bath. There's a tax abatement that they're going to work out with us. And 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I think it's 1,400 square feet on each side. And that's going to be the model. And guess what? There's a lot of Salem City, New Jersey's all throughout the state. People in this room, they've got relationships with city government and all over the place. Every single city has problems with vacant lots. The city of Philadelphia has 40,000 vacant lots. 40,000 vacant lots. We're going to use Salem, New Jersey as a pilot. Okay? Another area. We got people keep on telling me, no inventory. Like, I don't care. We're going to end up building new houses. There you go. We're going to be doing something, and I told Brian this, and I knew Brian liked it because he smiled on the phone. We're going to MWR developments. Well, what we're also going to do with our certified realtors, we want to be able to let them know what we're going to be looking for vacant land. Yes! And in that vacant land, we just got an opportunity. I just found out from another MWR member that he secured in East Hampton, New Jersey. He just secured 15 acres where he got approval to do 87 houses. So then guess what? The team is out there, no people in New Jersey, anywhere else. And what's going to happen is once we're going to come up, we're going to Whoever's going to be our capital contributors, we're going to come together. We're going to get all the soft costs to be able to get the land subdivided. We're going to have architectural drawings. We're going to advertise. We're going to get the end buyers, and then we're going to put up the whole development. And we'll call it, we'll call it MWR 1, MWR 9. Okay, so this is Salem City, New Jersey, and this is the mayor. Sorry, how can we have that video play? I know it's a YouTube.
Should just be able to click on it.
My name is Charles Washington Jr., and I'm the mayor of the great city of Salem in the state of New Jersey. Salem is a 2.3 square mile rural area. We are a city rich in history, historic architecture, and a prominent future. Although we have a prominent future, Salem City has been a distressed municipality for many decades. Unfortunately, right now, we're the #1 distressed city in the state of New Jersey. Over the years, this designation has led to excessive taxes and abandoned and vacant property throughout the city limits. In spite of the negative connotation that a distressed city has on the city of Salem, we believe we're primed for a comeback because of our redevelopment plan, because of the partnerships we've established over the years. Our redevelopment plan focuses on our housing, business, and commercial sectors. Also, we've established great working relationships and a partnership with Bishop Don Brown's Cathedral CDC, U.S. Housing Exchange, and MWR Finance. And together, we believe that we can address some of our housing issues, and we also believe that we can make Salem a better place to live, work, and call home. So we also thank you for your support, and we thank you for believing in the vision of Salem City. Relationships and a partnership with Bishop Don Brown's Cathedral CDC, U.S. Housing Exchange, and MWR Finance.
Network marketing company doing redevelopment. Now, what our plan is, we're going to get a lot of press because we're going to be fighting. That's why they didn't want to do any development, because they knew that they were getting gentrified. They turned out everybody is trying to come to that. They want us because we're talking about bringing affordable housing to people so they can Okay, so you heard me mention the fact that you need to have an LLC. Okay, now you're looking at Wyoming. Why? You're talking about Wyoming. And I'll tell you the reason why. Because of the fact that Wyoming is one of 3 anonymous states, which means that if you get people that have issues, anything that they're dealing with, if they have, I don't want to make it look like, I don't want to say all the different reasons, but I would just say that if they have any issues to where they need to be anonymous, then they want to have the LLC form in Wyoming. We don't do it for that reason. We know that if we partner with somebody and they're a capital contributor, we're putting you on the deed. If you have any federal tax problems or state local taxes or something like that, they're going to put that lien on our properties. So that's why even if you got a brand new LLC yesterday, if you're going to be a capital contributor, you've got to get the Wyoming LLC, which we worked out a very good price. That's going to be an intro price. It's going to be good for 7 days. 7 days, you have to take advantage of that. That's the people online too. 7 days. And the price is going to be $249. Okay, that's also going to include the registered agent fee, the PIN, everything. After 7 days, it goes to $349.
7 days from when? From today?
Saturday. No, we'll go. Early birds can do it. That's fine. But then we're going to go until next Monday. Not this Monday, next Monday. So that will allow you to be able to tell your team and all the people out there, you're going to get your recruiting, everybody to be. And even if you don't have the money to be able to invest now, Get the LLC. Get it. Because then what Brian's talking about, Bean's talking about, how you're going to save taxes, your MWR membership can move over to the LLC, so you're not going to have to pay Social Security income tax on that, and you're going to have even more tax write-offs because your membership is under your LLC. I got the same exact LLC under free flow. See what I mean? So we're doing it for the one reason: if you're a capital contributor, we're not talking about that you're an investor. We're not talking about that you put up money to be able to invest. You're a capital contributor. We're doing a joint venture. We're working together, combination. You're 20% contributor as far as where everything works at the joint effort. So we'll have all that stuff done. So, there's a lot of other different reasons why you would do it. More than that, but get it. Okay, that's going to be the call to action on the, I guess Adamo will let you know when that portal will be open, and just get it. And then our staff will process everything, and then you'll be able to do it through DocuSign. You'll be able to pay through Cash App, Venmo, and Zelle. Those three you'll be able to pay on it. And then what will happen is we know that there's going to be a picking order as far as how the investors are going to go based on your rank. The rank will give you first right of refusal. But we're also pecking order on how you bought your LLCs. That's going to determine to see when you're getting called in line to do these. We're going to start off to do 50 purchases with our kickoff. So that means anybody that wants to get into our buyers program, we're limiting it to the first 50 people that are going to come through the program. Hello. Okay. Are you guys loving this? Yeah. Here's what's going to happen about those first 50. Understand that we are the first 50 buyers. Let's talk about the buyers first. The buyers, you're going to go from area director. Let me see all the area directors, regional directors, district directors, regional directors, and of course the national directors there. You guys stand up real quick. Okay. So we're just looking around. Obviously, we have a lot. You can look at that. They stood up online. That's right. Wait. Okay. But here's what happens. If any of you were, for example, renters, you wanted to be a homeowner, you get the first chance to go through the program because only 50. Like, remember how I told you earlier? We're doing this the same way we built the company. We're gonna this like the beta. We make sure everything's working just right. Everything's smooth as it's supposed to be. Then it opens up. Are you guys with me? Yeah. So because we build a strong what? Foundation. So if the first 50 come through area and above because you guys went out to work before you knew anything about this, you made it happen. You guys with me here? Yeah. Now, if any of you are not, we don't have 50 buyers out of that. I think we will if we don't. Then you will go down to seniors, senior directors. You guys with me here? Yeah. It goes by rank to do this because we're just in the beta test, if you will. And a beta test is a lot of times it's like stuff isn't together, it's not there. That's not this. This is just we're taking it. We want to see this process go through because we are breaking ground on stuff that's never been done before. You guys with me here? Yeah. We are blazing the trail. Are you guys with me here? Yeah. So like you hear Brian say all the time, you hear us say, we're not here just to make money. We are going to make history. You guys just look around and see. It's hard sometimes to understand when you're in the dorm room of Mark Zuckerberg or you're in the garage of Bill Gates, because you don't really know that you're just in it. You're just doing it. We're just here going to work, making it happen. But then later you realize, well, we made history. Well, just look around for a moment. Just take a look and look who's with you in this room, because this will be remembered. This will be remembered. This day, this time, this moment, who you are, what you contributed to actually make history. Do you understand a mayor of a city has endorsed MWR Financial, and he wants us because of the heart we have as a people, because we know who we are and whose we are. You guys see? So when you talk about making a difference, see, it's not just about money, it's bigger than that. And you have to know that. Remember, what did Brian say yesterday? You have to believe. You have to know it. Are you guys with me here? So so I want you to know we're starting off, but we're giving it to those that went to work and they saw the vision even before they saw what exactly the complete vision was.
Are you guys with me here? So you guys understand, the first 50 are going to come through area directors and above. Now on the capital contributor side, same thing, area directors and above. But if we're going to do 50 homes, we know we're going to need between 50 and say 200 capital contributors. Are you guys with me here? And the reason why the investor, we can say it, but we just don't want to have an issue.
His audio.
But now don't do anything online now, because I know we get excited. Go. Wait, we'll let you know when that button is up, and then you guys will be able to go get your LLCs. Because everybody with their LLC, I don't care if I was just brand new to MWR Financial, and especially if I'm in this room, and one day I could be tore from the floor. But if one day I want to be an investor, and I know I'm looking around and I see the testimonies that came up here today, and they were 8 months, 4 months, 6 months, 10 months, 2 years. I'm like, let me get positioned now, because what did Brian say? I am pulling where I'm going to be. I'm not worried about where I am. I'm going to pull it to me. You guys with me here? So that's the step you make. We'll get that button set up. But again, on the capital contributors, it's area directors and above. You guys have the first right of refusal. So what that means is we go through, start off with national director. You want to be, I have the resources now to do it. Okay, there's one. Go to the regionals. You guys with me? Yeah. We're all in. But if we're not, okay, it's okay. It doesn't matter right now, because this is where you're going to be. But if somebody's not ready, that's fine. You'll be around the next round. But we're going to start with you all first. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then if we get our 50 to 200, then we're going to stop it. And no one else can get in yet but they can get ready. They can get their LLC. They can start. We're going to save money. What we're going to do? Make money. They can start. And we're going to do what? So they can make money building their organization, sharing this good news that is MWR Financial, where we're going. And they now started making money. Now they're ready. They already have their LLC. Then they have to wait now. Well, I have to wait for that to get done. They have it, and now they're in. Are you guys with me here? And you know what they did in the process? They ranked up. So when you ranked up and we say, okay, is this ranked where we're going, then you guys are with me. Are you guys with me? Does that make sense? Yeah. So this is where we're headed. So I'm telling you, do you guys have to see, it was quiet. And I think they're just trying to is this really happening? I know, I'm just trying to, and then Donald keeps getting up and okay, we're talking, but is this really happening? And that's what, remember when you heard Brian B talk about yesterday, he said, you gotta understand where you are, where you're headed, and you gotta believe that and start to think bigger than you've ever thought before. Think bigger than you ever thought before. What did he say when he said, Mom started giving him the books, and he's like, but if I'm an extended father, as fathers, we want to give our sons everything. We want to teach him some things, but we want to give him things, right? So if that's my father, and I can go, and he says, all the hills from the kind, I'm not a preacher now, but I'll go. Let me ask you this question. I'm just asking you one question. Who in here, because I don't know who it was, so I'm interested to find out. Who in here prayed hard enough for everybody else in this room to get blessed? I want to know. Stand up. Let me see. Who is it? Did you? You pray like that? Did you? Oh, okay. So collectively, we prayed that hard. All right, I'm with you. Well, let's go bless America.
So I want. Okay, so before, thank you everybody. Yeah, make sure you don't do anything when you order it online, because not every single source is reputable. That's why we internalize it. That's why we have it. So people out there that's listening, I know people are some action oriented. Don't go to Google and try to be able to do that. Got everything that we need to make sure you set up the correct way. All right. So coming up now is a guy who is responsible for dealing with the app. He spends countless hours on app teams, development teams in India. He's up in the middle of the night, dealing with these folks. He's an IT professional. He actually used to do the IT for the United Nations. He was my teammate. I played against him. We played with each other at Rutgers. He's like a brother to me. We talk all the time. I get on him, and he never takes it personal. place. This is Todd Lane. Know that you're gonna live to see this thing happen. I'm gonna live to see this thing happen. Well, I got a witness in the crowd. Amen, amen. I can't help but come to church. I can't help but come to church, right? I'm gonna live to see this thing happen. To see it happen. We're gonna make this thing happen. We're gonna make this thing happen. That's all right. 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 I want to just thank again. I want to thank Brian, Adamo, all the MWR family for embracing us. This is wonderful. This is wonderful. And as Adamo said, this is groundbreaking right here. We're going to change people's lives that they can live. Not exist. We have too many. I've been in that place where I was just existing. But we're going to make people live. Is that all right? We're going to make people live. That's good. So just to kind of introduce, we're the New Jackson, the family. Just a little bit about me. As Mario said, we go back a long way. He's a brother. I love him. He's hard, but, we chastise the people we love. And as he said, I never take it personal, but I learned a lot from him in some of the darkest times of my life. As he mentioned, I come from an IT background. And at the time, I thought I was doing real well. You know how it is when we're on that W-2 job. You're on it right now. But it's like that money's coming in good, but then something happens. And that thing goes away. Bills still coming and things, but, me and Mario came into contact after we had been away from each other for a while, and he was the one that showed me this vision about 10 years ago. Showed me this vision. I said, how can I be down? I said that straight to him. I said, how can I be down with this? And the motivation that this has to come from, and we all love getting checks. We all love getting checks. We all love getting that money. I want to get up to that $20 a day. But I did just get promoted. I did just get promoted. So I'm happy with that. So I'm happy with that. But the thing is the motivation, and as Mario said, I wasn't a big network marketing person, but it's amazing to see the passion that we have with MWR, where we're dealing with these areas that we can change people's lives, change communities, and that's my heart. I want to be able to help people. I want to be able to say, hey, look, I got it, and I can raise you up, that we can all be stronger together. So that is our motivation. Yes, we're going to make money, but when you can make money and you can help people, that's a win-win situation. So I appreciate MWR. It's not just about the money. Yes, we want to make money, but it's about the people too. Just like we see in here. But as I mentioned, as Mario mentioned, one of the critical aspects of our process, has anybody ever done a flip in here or had a house or whatever? Buying a house is easy. It's fixing it up that's the problem. Contractors, as Mario alluded to before, it's the contractors, being able to manage that process. And the thing that we always come back to is that general contractors, and that's what this slide is bringing out, our app versus the general contractor. The way that we had the philosophy and the way that we designed this app came from, as we said, a lot of lessons we learned. And what technology is a solution that can solve many problems that we have had, in the past. So with the technology, we're able to replace the general contractor, because normally general contractors, they're getting paid off of the job. We don't want we want to pay what the contractors are working to do. Okay, they get their money, they get paid what they're doing, so that we can then return as much profit back to you, right? So that is the reason why we came up with the app that in the way that we did, is that we wanted to get down to what are the costs associated with an actual work for a particular job. So with the app, what we do is that we actually break it down into what we call mini jobs. So we take an entire project, we break it down into mini jobs. And then those mini jobs, we get them tasked out, we allocate what's the actual amount of time that's really necessary to do it. Because what happens, again, those people that deal with contractors, they want to stay on the job longer if they get paid by the hour. But if we tell you, hey, this job should, we have people, and we talk about the team. We have our team. So again, we don't use general contractors. The app is our general contractor that's managing the job. So as you can see, it manages the rehab process. In this day and age, we have to leverage technology. As we talked about, Cardinal talked about, as the announcement came out with the MWR app that's coming out, technology, we're becoming technology companies. We have to be technology companies in order to compete and do our business moving forward. So with that, we're able to do, with this particular app, we're able to control all the costs that are associated, the process, the progression of the project, so we can do it in the most efficient way possible, so we can get you to that 91 days instead of that 6 months, right? So the quicker that we can get the project done with the least amount of expense is the way that we're going to return that back to you sooner. As Mario said, hey, you can do 2 flips, but if we can get you 3 flips in a 12-month period, I'm sure you'd like to see that money.
Yeah.
One of the things so that's the app. So one of the things that's the biggest thing is accountability. We have to have accountability. A lot of times what happens when projects go wrong, and we've seen this firsthand, I'm sure you guys, many of you have been in a situation where that might have happened. The biggest thing is when the contractors aren't held accountable. When you don't know what the actual oversight is in a project, that thing can go run awry. So that's the reason why we have the monitoring in place. This is a picture actually of one of the properties that we're doing out in Anderson, Indiana. So we have our team of oversight that are actually monitoring that, and they're in a collaboration with the on-site, as you mentioned, SCA, our senior construction advisor that's out in Indiana on a daily basis, getting updates and reports, as well as going through the individual jobs that are in the project. So this is our team. This is our team. They have over 70 years of the combined experience. These gentlemen are very good in what they do. They're master carpenters. They've been on projects down with the federal government. So they have a wealth of knowledge. And these are our core members that are the ones that are providing the oversight, providing structure in our environment that it allows for us to scale. That's what is the biggest thing. Just like MWR, we have the structure that allows us to scale. That, as Adamo said, that we're looking to move from here in a couple of years to be over 200-some thousand people. That's how we've structured our business. So that we have these gentlemen as core. They're going to be the ones that recruit and hire. We utilize, international trades, ZipRecruiter, those type of things to be able to advertise in the area and get the top contractors in that area. And they will then provide the project. They will work out the project as far as what's necessary, and then they'll be providing oversight, as I mentioned before, with the SCA. So lastly, this is our structure. And again, as I mentioned, this is what's going to allow us to scale from as we start. In our initial phase with 50 properties, we're looking to go to 100, then to 200, to 500, up to 1,000 a month. That's what our goal is going to be. So when we get to that point, we're going to be flipping properties all over the place. We're going to become, I believe we're going to become the place to go if you're doing anything with real estate. I can see that vision with the partnership that we have. With the MWR marketing processes that they already have, with Cardinal Financial as a key partner and us as U.S. Housing Exchange, I believe we're going to be doing historical change to the society. So again, it's been a pleasure being with you guys. I look forward to the partnership. You know, I'm excited about what's going to happen. As we talked about, we want everybody to live. All right? Last segment of the day. This is our certified realtor program. This is what's going to allow you to recruit realtors. The realtors that's here are going to be able to get right out the gate as far as where everything is going to be. All right? So we're going to run through this quick. And then what will happen, if we have any time, Adamo can be able to collect your questions off anything we talked about. It won't be random, so there'll be an organized way of how questions will come. So if you end up having something, start writing stuff down, and then Adamo can tell me what it is we're doing. Oh, he got it written up. Thought it was my
Back to
you. All right. Okay, so this is our certified realtor program. Now we don't have a test or anything like that. Just right now it's to be information. We're not going to give you all the information now. It's too much. I tried. They told me they had me take all the slides out. Now I'm going to go through everything. They're like, oh, they got information overload. So there may be some questions that realtors will have that's specific to the way the process is. I'm going to do a podcast next week. And it's going to be the first one's going to be for the certified realtor, which is going to allow you to have a good week to start stacking up realtors all over the country on that podcast. Not a Zoom meeting. It's going to be a podcast. Oh, okay. Okay, thanks. Okay, so we're going to get through this historic movement. We need to have boots on the ground. We need to have our realtors. When the app first came out, people were telling me, and I guess some realtors feeling threatened because they were like, well, you're going to be creating something that might kind of get us out of the equation. I said, no, I'm doing something that's going to make it a tool for you to make it easier for you to work. You know, we're going to be creating, if you think about an MLS right now, and you look at the way a realtor thing is now, you got their picture and they're smiling next to a house. It's like, oh, they were doing that forever. So I was a little kid before I was probably born. This is now we got technology. We want to create our own living MLS that's dynamic. So that's what we want. That's what the U.S. Housing Exchange will be. Not yet, but it will be. So then that's what we're going to be doing with the contractors. It's going to work like Uber. It'll be something to where when you have a job, it's going to set push notifications, bam, contractors. So the same thing is going to be with how the realtor, what we're developing the technology. So some stuff, you got to have some vision. Some things we're working on it on the background, but you know, tech, as Brian talked about earlier, sometimes you go through some issues trying to get the thing in. All right, so what's going to happen is that a lot of times realtors traditionally was going to end up just sending something to a credit repair company. And then it was like a boomerang that might not come back. You see what I mean? With this system, they're not going nowhere because there isn't a program that's going to end up buying a house for the credit challenged person for what we would be, what they can put down with us. Which even if you're not a realtor, it's important that you understand because you're going to be recruiting realtors. Okay? You already know that the statistics of the 40 million renters. And with the, I don't know about the Latino population, but I know that with Black folks, it's about 40% of Black folks are homeowners. That's the lowest out of everyone. So that's a huge opportunity. It's around that too. So you got about 40% Latino population, 40% African American population. So it ends up being a very, very, very good opportunity for you and your local markets, and then people in general. I mean, if you're renting, I'm not going to do a census on you. If you're renting, we need to be able to get you into a house. All right. So it ends up being a huge opportunity. Now, when I was doing that thing with the National Home Buyers Assistance, they did a lot of R&D, which was real expensive, but I ended up having the data since they ended up making me CEO for like a month. but what happened is only 30% of people home that are renting actually want to rent. 70% are only renting due to circumstances. Do you know what opportunity that is giving you? We mentioned about the vacant properties, and we're going to be helping with that. So our mission is to create a bridge to home ownership and convert people to ownership, and then not end up having something. Because right now you've got home ownership, renting. We're going to create a bridge to both, which is now going to be a third option. When people think about that third option, they're going to be thinking of MWR Financial or U.S. Housing Exchange. Bridge to home ownership. That's the third option. So we don't just want everybody, because we don't want them negative people. We don't want those skeptical people. I want people to do due diligence, not skepticism. I don't mind if you do due diligence all day. I'm like, Google me. I don't care. Google me, ask me, whatever, but I don't like skeptical people because you're looking for something negative. You're not looking for something because you're inquisitive on what certain things work. Yeah. So if you're skeptical, don't have me. If you may, I'm not ever going to talk crazy to anybody, but I'll be kind of real candid on podcasts when you get that guy that's the smartest in the room, and then they want to, try to. Yeah, I want people who can think outside the box. That's how we're going to make money. I've met a couple billionaires in my lifetime. Most of them were people who owned teams, and they all thought different. Bob Kraft, when I went to the Patriots, I thought he was the Kraft macaroni guy. I was like, he's like, do you know what I do? I was like, you're the Kraft macaroni guy. No. He says, whenever a box gets made in anywhere in the world, I get 3 cents. I was like, 3 cents? He's like, there's a lot of boxes. And I thought about it. I was like, yeah, because his family invented some apparatus on how a box folds. So that's how Bob Kraft made the majority of his money, was through that. So he's not the Kraft macaroni guy. All right, but we want to have people that's open-minded and outside the box, thinker. Okay? Luckily, we came up with this, so they don't got to rethink our process. We just want people to follow the process with an open mind. And then we want to work smart. Okay? So this will be probably the first network marketing company that when you talk to them, you may say, you know what? We're not going to mess around with you. Yeah. You see what I mean? We're going to probably turn you down. And be like, I got turned down for the network marketing. Because take a look around this room. And then if each one of these people give 10 people that want us to buy them a house, are you going to want some old skeptical realtor dealing with your clients? No, this is a privilege. This is a way they're going to make more money. Okay? So just know that. Know what you got. Okay? Currently, you got people who do rent to own or lease option. It's kind of interchangeable, those words. But that's typically, you got to put 10 to 20% down. When you get a rent to own house, you get a lease, and you got an option. That's an option fee, that 10 to 20%. So what happens is you got a certain period that you have to exercise that option. And then when you exercise that option, the down payment is coming from that option fee. So that's what typically lease option is. And when I did the NHBA, that was a lease option whole franchise. That's what it was. And there was good things on that, but then there was bad things for the client because that option fee is always non-refundable. It's always. And then now what happens is you got a certain amount of time to be qualified to buy, or your option can run out. Okay, and then you could, a lot of times extend it, but if you get somebody scrupulous, then they can end up getting an option from someone else. And you will get evicted. Even if you paid your rent all the way on time, they'll just terminate the contract because your option period expired. Okay? If I'm wrong on any of these type things, realtor, raise your hand, call me out. Okay, thank you. All right, so now when we look at the lease option, there's a couple pros. There's flexible pricing, and there's no prepayment penalties. A whole bunch of options. You see, I sat there in my hotel room last night, and I was like, what are the pros? But, all right, so cons. Unreasonable down payment. Okay, you've got high interest. They're dictating the interest of what they're paying. And you got that, what's that program? Divvy? They're charging like 8-9%. So when you look and you're going to see programs that are out there, you're going to see on Facebook and everything. But what about this program? What's the interest rate? All right, that's what you got to look at. So it's high interest, and the sale price is an anticipated value because of the fact that your option period may be 2 years. They're going to guesstimate what they think the house is going to be worth in the future, and a lot of these people have no clue. And you would have an option that's a frozen price. Yep. Now, I'll lower my price down in a second if the appraisal comes in less. But some of these people, they want you to fail. They want you to fail. They want it because they can get another client and they get another 10, 20% down. So then they'll give a higher price that you can't do anything about. And people are so desperate to get in, they get into these contracts. Down payment non-refundable. And no ownership rights, which means that you get evicted. Even though you got a lease option, hey, I got a lease option. You still got a rental contract. So you will get evicted if something goes wrong. Okay? Oh, and pros, I guess that you get a landlord to fix repairs. I'll put that in there. I forgot about that. Okay, now you got the other side, like in Texas, and I think Atlanta, I don't know what the rules are in Atlanta, but certain states like Texas, lease option is frowned upon. I hear some people telling me it's illegal, and some people are telling me that it's frowned upon. I don't know. So I'm just going to say that it's frowned upon. So, but the difference between the owner finance and lease purchase is the sellers finance the purchase price. Okay, so what happens is you're not using a bank. They're the ones who's telling you owner finance. Go on Craigslist and you go put owner finance in. You'll see 15 to 30% down. 15 to 30% down. I look at that. I was like, dang, when I saw some of those different types of things. Huh? Oh, gosh. That gave me indigestion. Now, the interest is a little bit less than rent to own. So you probably more or less in the 6 to 8% range. But on the other one, on rent to own, you're probably more in the 8 to 10% range, which is less than 100% if you're renting, but it's still very expensive when you compare it to what it is we're talking about. Now, and because of the fact that a bank is not going to be financing the price of the house, they can say the price is going to be whatever because they're the ones who's financing it. So then now the seller dictates the price, which is typically going to be a lot higher than the current comparable sales. Down payment also non-refundable. So you pay more than what the property's worth. And I tell people all the time, say this all the time, and when you have a house, the interest is front-loaded interest, and it's compound interest. So when you look, the average 30-year amortization schedule is going to be 18.5 years before you're paying more principal than interest. That's crazy. So then now you imagine what you're paying out. Are we not paying, when we get paid, the average person's W-2, they're paying their mortgage payment with after-tax dollars, right? So then now you got to think on what you had to earn in your paycheck to pay the house. So when you calculate really what the cost of the house is, you're going to get a nosebleed. A lot of times when you add up all the payments that you pay out, you're going to get a nosebleed. Then now to add insult to injury, you're paying it with after-tax dollars, which makes it even worse. And the buyer is responsible for repairs and maintenance on owner finance. Okay, you're not leasing. Okay, so now, and then, you know, the good thing about that is you do have ownership rights. So that if you were to get out of that property, they would have to foreclose on you. So that's why when you're in New Jersey and some of the states, New York, Pennsylvania, it takes a little longer to foreclose. You don't go into a lease purchase because they're on the deed. Texas, you could put them in the owner finance because you can get somebody out in 60 days. They're ignorant in Texas, man. They'll get you out of there. Okay? So fire your landlord. We're going to match the motivated buyers. The distressed properties, as we went over, motivated sellers, vacant land for new construction. Okay, so then now these are all going to be opportunities for you as a realtor to be able to enhance your business, because now your portfolio is not just people who are in the market right now. You've got an expansive war like this, because we're tapping people on the shoulder and be like, hey, when's your lease up? 5 months. You want a house? My credit's bad. What if that wasn't a hurdle? I want a house. So all those people now can be converted for you to be able to now have them as clients. Okay, 3.5% to 5%, and our rent is only 1% higher than what the FHA rates is. I didn't put it because rates fluctuate. So if rates are like 3.8%, we're going to calculate a rent payment of about 4.8%. We're not going to dog people like that. We don't want people to be comfortable renting, so we want them out of there. So then we're going to make them a little bit uncomfortable, so then they'll comply and get this thing done, not mess up, make the loan pass, so we can fire your landlord and be at the closing table, get paid. Okay, so our program, the pros is house shopping flexibility, because you're able to now shop with the realtor. So the realtor is there to shop with you. They're not your client though. We're your client. Okay, so you're gonna get a custom renovation. You know, you can't do pizza sauce red or anything like that crazy on the wall, but as long as it's a neutral color, we don't mind. Because if you don't buy, we're stuck. And we got to get you out. We got to get somebody to be like, pizza sauce red, I don't want this. So we just, you know, you got to have a neutral color. And why did that rule come about? Because it happened to me. And somebody put pizza sauce red in a house in Yaden, Pennsylvania. And then I had no idea. I wasn't involved in it. I got in. Something happened. The client lost their job. And then I had to go. And then I'm in there. And then I go through a walkthrough. And as soon as I walked in, I said, pizza sauce red. So, you know, you got the construction management and quality control. The mortgage done in-house with Cardinal, so they're never leaving. They're never leaving because I happen to be with Cardinal. So then now it goes with, but I can't do all these loans. So it just comes to our processing center, and we end up sending it out to Key, and then it's all buttons that's pressed, and it goes out, and then now you got a team working on it. That's all done in-house. It's not like, hey, you know, what's up with this? What's up with that? People ask me all the time. Well, I got a friend that's a mortgage guy. Can he come in and work with us? And the reason why it's no is because of the fact that we can't deal with other people's investors where they have overlays higher than what traditional FHA is. An example, if you have all these different mortgage companies, Cardinal has it that if you got a car repossessed, you can still get a deal done without it being paid off. You go ask your mortgage guy, hey, I just had a guy with a repossession. They say it's a wrap, right? Now I got to be paid. But that's not FHA. That's their investors. And we can't roll the dice on, I don't know that mortgage guy. He's saying that they can, and how do I know this?
It happened to me. Some guy made a mistake, didn't see something and everything, and then told me that the person could qualify for more than what it was. The end result was Mario lost $22,000 because I had to lower the sale price because I just wanted to get out the deal. So since that time period, we said we have to be the one. Because if I lose $22,000, it got to be on me. Can't be on somebody else. Because he still made his mortgage commission. I'm still mad about that. All right, so we're going to be in because we're also doing the credit from our office in-house. In-house. That's where the forensic side is going to be taken care of. So when you get a client and you refer a client, everything is done within. Even though we got partners, it's not Mario sitting there by himself looking at a pile of credit files like that. No, it's a system. We got a system. Everybody's working into some type of thing. Oh, this one? Man, why didn't you tell me this? I mean, all we've done the thing now. I've been sitting here all day. I got you. Okay, the only con in our entire program is success depends on that individual. That's it. We're proven. So when you get a person and they're skeptical and they're buyer, how do I know that? Look at the testimonials. I don't know what you're going to do. And then yet again, can't be skeptical of me because you're coming to me because you got bad credit because you didn't take somebody. That's the reason why you're talking to me now. So how are you going to be looking at me and I've proven myself? All right. And so your role, remember, U.S. Housing Exchange. I mean, I got at least 50 LLCs. I learned a lesson not to have too many properties under one LLC. Why do you think that I know about that? That's what me. I got sued, and it was pretty unjustly why I got sued. But I happened to have had 11 properties in Pennsylvania. So when I got the judgment went on all 11 properties. So now I learned not to have more than one LLC per property or per state, that is. Well, I learned that. So it's not going to affect you unless you come in and we got people. Like I got a person that's joining MWR. He got $1 million set aside for this. He sold his healthcare practice. He had about $8 million. He's like, Mario, I'm gonna start with $1 million. So then that means I was like, dude, you gotta have a few different LLCs because you're gonna be doing certain things, and we don't want to make sure that if something happens, even though Wyoming is an anonymous state, I get real conservative at certain times. You get hit a couple times in the mouth, you'll get extra conservative. All right, I'll roll with things, but I get hit. I want to be a little more cautious. And properties are based on our program criteria by FYL buyer's needs, which means that you're going to know when they're pre-qualified to be a subject to pre-qualification, which means that they already have the income, but they don't have the credit score. So then you're going to know. And so then if they get a pre-qualification of X dollars, when we get in and we have our meeting, because we do an onboarding session, then we'll be able to make sure that client will go high on their mortgage payment. Okay, so that you don't land them on something, we do a deal and then they weren't comfortable. So we just make sure that we go over all that. So be a hero in your local market. You refer credit challenge renters to the program, to MWR's program. They have to be enrolled in MWR. I've said that a few times. I'll say it a few more times. You got to be in the program because it has to be filtered in. There's also commissions that have to be paid out, so you don't want them to make sure. They want to make sure. Obama has said several times there's a process on where something has to go for everything to get tagged out. So we want that. Then you want to receive. You're going to receive potential residual income, so it's more than you just making commission. Because now everybody that you're currently referring into a program on what you would do every day anyway. There's so many realtors that refer people to credit repair companies and everything, and you're not getting anything. So as long as you disclose it, even though they're not the buyer right then and there, and
and I guess it's probably great because we're the client. So then, you know, you can deal with the broker and ask that particular question as far as where everything goes. But you're going to end up getting income. You know, imagine if you end up getting a client that goes through the credit program to buy a house and you get some Brian Bean guy. You get a Brian Bean guy, and then now not only did you make a commission on that deal, but it paid you perpetual income because you got the right person. And if you're in the credit program and you got a house through the program, you think they're going to be convinced to refer other people? And when they refer other people, you know how many people want to refer people? We had what's that girl's name in the Berlin conference? Deshay. Didn't she refer about 10 people? We bought a house for her. 10 people came into the program immediately. So then that's what I'm saying. So it can be able to come in. And then we already know about the receipt. Now, what we have coming soon, these last 2 slides, coming soon is we're going to have it. We're working on the technology now. Every realtor is going to get their own landing page. And the landing page is going to have your code embedded in there for your MWR sign up. And then it's really cool because let's say you get, so then this ends up being your business card. Because you're going to see our testimonial down there. You're going to see me at the closing table. Somebody with bad credit went through everything. It's going to be a blur. It's if you go to Fire My Landlord Atlanta, you'll see a real estate broker with this particular with this. You can see her page. So we're going to use this template to be utilized with MWR. So this is going to be a very good deal that you have. And then now as an MWR member, those realtors are going to go hard for you because when they start showing that, they're going to be attracting all the people who want to be able to buy. So it's going to be sick. All right. I'm not here, so I'll do this. Okay, so the process is every realtor, they have to be an MWR member. Okay, they got to go through the MWR financial services. Why? Because how are you going to refer people to go through the program for them to be successful in our program? Because we don't want these people to be foreclosed. We don't want these people to be foreclosed. So we want them using the debt eliminator, the debt shredder, everything. You got to use that. You're a certified realtor. You got to know every single program and you got to use every single program. Because you can't be certified if you don't know how our programs work when you certify. It's not just about selling them a home. You got to know how the membership is going to help your clients. Okay? That's going to be helpful for retention, and that's going to be helpful to convert that into being a customer to a member. All right? FYL client will come from MWR Financial Platform. So when they're in the credit platform, they're going to be able to get in through that credit platform. Remember, it's a 30-day waiting period. We're not real anal with the 30 days. If we look at the application and they apply, we see them. See the credit is manageable and everything, and we already got enough investors, we probably will pull that right back to the realtor, get them in, and then get that going. But that's to our discretion because we're building the infrastructure, so we don't want to say that we're doing something that we're not. As this thing pops, we'll make it move even faster. Cardinal Financial will pre-qualify the client subject to finances and credit score eligibility. Then they'll have an onboarding session with our office, with U.S. Housing Exchange. We got bilingual people in our office. So if you have somebody habla español, then what will happen is they'll have, I'm Panamanian, by the way, so all my family is, I don't speak Spanish. Okay, so I'm trying. I gotta learn. That's all my bucket list. I gotta learn. But so we're gonna get that onboarding session with the realtor. If it's the first deal, we're gonna have it with the realtor, with the end buyer. After you get into the system and you learn, U.S. Housing Exchange doesn't need to be in on that meeting. We do it through a Zoom session, and all those Zoom sessions are recorded and they're archived on our server. So guess what happens? And why do you think I know about that? Because it happened to me. You didn't say that. Now we record everything. I'll pull the tape and I'll be like, yeah, you heard it. This was there. Go to about 2 minutes and 43 seconds. It's right there. So you catch a couple of L's, you start learning to be able to recover yourself. All right. Last thing is we don't know your market. We have no idea. So then your job as the certified realtor to let us know how that market's going to be. What's the taxes like? What's this? What's that? What's the next? So then we got an idea, because if it's an area that we gotta get our contractors pools together, then that's why, another reason why, even though we may have people that need to get a little bit more help as far as what the buyer situation is going to be, we're going to be seeing where all of our business is coming from. So if we have 100 people that want to buy in Charlotte, we're going to be going to work on the vacant properties. We're going to make sure we got our contractors, everything like that, anywhere in the United States. We want to get the 30-day lead time, and that's where that is. So if we go sooner, that means we're already set up there. If it's something where we need 30 days, it means that we're going to develop that area. Okay, so I'm done. I'm done. But what is going to happen? It was impossible for me to go through all of this stuff. Everything. There's so much stuff I left out. We got 60 slides. Okay, so what's going to happen is that we are going to be having our monthly podcast for certified realtors, with the first one being next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, Brian or Adamo will make sure that you guys get a link of our podcast. Then we'll be in there and we're going to do a deeper dive. Okay, so I highly encourage you guys to do that. And then what we'll be doing on a weekly basis, we'll also have our podcast on a subject. It could be the sellers. It could be one of our wholesaler experts that's going to tell you about how you guys can get compensated in the sellers program. You got to sign up for that. You got to sign up for that because you got to get the training. That's not just going to be everybody, because you're going to be specific. You got to have specific things that you're going to need to do on that part. And the last thing is there's going to be, for the certified realtors, there's a detailed PowerPoint that's going to be delivered to you in a link that's going to go through a lot of different things, a lot of our strategies, techniques, what we're going to do, a lot of deep dive stuff that's there. So I want to thank everybody for everybody's attention. And no question. We don't have time for questions. So we're gonna bring up our great CEO and founder, Mr. Brian House.
Are you excited? Yeah! All right, is this amazing or what? I mean, we are really doing something that has never been done in this industry. And so I think it's important that we set the expectation properly, okay? And so I'm going to say this. There were some things that were said. One, and Damo talked about us only taking 50 people originally. Okay, I want you to understand, everything we've ever done in this company, we've been extremely methodical. Okay, we've done it to where we make sure that our systems are working right. We make sure that we go through the process correctly, that everything is working the way it's supposed to, so that when new people participate in the program, the reason we're starting with executive area directors and above, you guys are already here. You're already experienced. If we're going to experience any type of challenge with this program or something that we need to remedy right now before we roll it out to everyone, we want to make sure we do it with people that are committed to MWR Financial. Okay? Yes. And so that's to your advantage. That's not a disadvantage. So here's the other thing, is that the process, even for a buyer, okay, the first step in our process is to participate in the financial makeover. Yeah. Okay? That's a process. Restoring someone's credit doesn't take a week. I see posts every once in a while where somebody says, "Ooh, I got in yesterday and my scores went up today." Okay? That's not how it works, just so you know. All right? And we like backing it up with documentation. That's why we check when somebody actually posts something on our testimonial page. We want to make sure they're telling the truth, that they're not overhyping or overselling our program. You don't have to do that. All right? The other thing I want you to understand is you guys got a ton of information today. A ton. This is a lot to absorb. Okay? Yeah, it is a lot to absorb. Here's the great thing about it. Just like everything we do with MWR Financial, You all got this knowledge, but you don't have to be the expert. You don't have to do it. This is a done-for-you real estate platform. You're going to do the same things that we have always done in the past. You only have to be good at one thing with MWR Financial, and that's exposing what we have to others. That's it. Our experts do all the work. Todd, Mario, their staff, okay, all of them, they handle all of that. We wanted to educate you, though, so you knew just how powerful, behind the scenes, what this program is capable of doing. All right? And so I hope you guys realize that. I don't want you guys going out and trying to become real estate experts. Honestly, it will kill you. It will kill your business. Okay? And so there's a reason why we do it the way we do it. The other thing is, from a compliance perspective, everything we do is done through experts. We realize that our field force, you guys got so much information today, I cannot expect you to go out and relay it in an exact compliant manner. But what I do know is that when somebody follows the steps and they get to one of our experts, guess what? They're going to have to make sure that they sign stuff that is telling them that this supersedes anything they've heard before, and they have got the information directly from somebody that is an expert, that is not misleading them, not overhyping it, not doing any of that stuff, because we want this company not to be around for next year. We want it to be around for the next 30, 40, 50, 100. So, listen, I wanted to. Yeah. With that said, Brian's giving us the evil eye over here. We've got to get out of here. So here's what I want to say. Listen, I appreciate you guys sitting here listening to this. All right. We've got a great day planned tomorrow. I know Brian does. I hope you guys are extremely excited about this, because I want to tell you what, we are getting ready to do something that is so significant, and so many lives are going to be changed because of this. I cannot wait until we have MWR Financial Units in every city in this. Get our stuff and get out of here as quick as we possibly can.
So no lingering, no music. No lingering. We have to leave this room